We are back now, y'all. This is my first time streaming, y'all. Okay, so y'all gotta let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me in the chat. Can you hear me? Hey. Oh, y'all can hear me. Okay, cool. Okay. Well, welcome. We in the kitchen. We cooking tonight. It's easier for me to be in the kitchen, so that's where I'm at right now. I'm not sure exactly where y'all want to start with this, but I say y'all welcome. Okay, but I got a few videos lined up for us to look at together, and then we're going to go from there. For those who are coming in and joining us, this live is specifically catered to or dedicated to Naziah, who is currently still missing. I did get the chance to catch up with before we start, make sure y'all just hit that like button when y'all come in and join the live. Please hit the like button and let me know where y'all from and things like that, and let's see where everybody at. But I did get the chance to follow up on that video that somebody has said in regards to a Jane Doe being found behind a building on a west side 7 Mile area. Okay. And they just still haven't identified that body yet. Okay. They did say it was small. It was a small body frame. So a child, they did say that. And they still haven't confirmed who it was that they found behind this building. So just for the record, okay? Just for the record, y'all. So I see a few people here. I see, okay. Yes. All right. So while y'all doing that, I am going to pull up something real quick. Because honestly, how many of y'all seen any of these videos? Okay. How many of y'all seen some of the court hearings and things like that? Have y'all had the chance to catch up with it? I see Brittany is here and Cosmic Chaos. Did y'all have a chance to catch up on this story or watch the videos and things like that? Brittany says yes. Okay. Well, it's some more it's a few that I'm gonna pull up on my TikTok that I listened to earlier. Remember, I said one of her daughters called in to one of the podcasts. I think the name of that podcast was I had wrote it down. 7 Mile Radio. I think she had called into 7 Mile Radio, the sister, in regards to her mother and trying to defend her mother. So y'all want to hear that first, or y'all want to watch this video right here? I'm about to show y'all. Here, this is the Is this the press? This is 11 months ago. Okay, when a grandmother. Let me see. When let me see if I can
Hold on. Before you pay for yet another app to manage your team, let me introduce you to Connect Team, the one platform that
Yeah, the twin. It was the twin. No, it wasn't the twin that called in. This was another sibling. They didn't say her name. They didn't say her name, so I don't know for sure which sibling that was. But they said at the end of the video, like, that wasn't Shannon or the twin. It was the sister that didn't give a name. Okay. So I wanted to go back and just look at the grandmother's initial reaction when she was at this live recording in Detroit, on the CBS News Detroit, and how she was reacting then. And then I was listening too, because I'm the type of spiritualist where I know they have like clairvoyant, clairaudient, and things like that. Those are my gifts, right, y'all? But I also we're discernment. We're using our discernment in this case, are we not? That's what we're doing. And I have to go back and see things and see the body language and see how they say certain things, see how their hands are moving, any sounds I hear in the background, things like that is important to me. And how I'm able to determine things. I don't know if y'all get what I'm saying, but like that's just what it is with me, right? So I'm gonna play this because we're gonna pay close attention to this grandma and how she initially came. This was her first, I believe this was her first appearance to the public. Okay. Is that right, Brittany? Brittany, you saw this one?
More grandma.
Can y'all see this? Hold on.
The mom.
Can y'all see this clearly?
Right.
Oh, you say no, you didn't. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm asking anyone that knows anything about my granddaughter, please contact the police department. She's been missing for a very long time. Naziah is a very sweet child. This is not of her character. We've been looking for her. We've been passing out flyers. We've been calling people. We've been knocking on doors. We have done some of everything. And we're asking anybody that has any.
Now I'm listening to the background. Y'all hear that ding, 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 ding? I still don't see no tears. And I do not want to make it seem like I'm being insensitive, okay? Because I couldn't imagine actually being in this predicament and not knowing what my loved one is, y'all. But if we're going to go based on body language do not lie. And that noise, that ringing bell noise that I'm hearing up against that pole, to me, that speaks volumes. Something is strange going on here. She's doing a whole lot of fake sobbing to me. It doesn't seem like she's emotional about this at all. It seems like she's putting on a show. You say she fake, I say the same thing.
Information, any information, I don't care who it is, please come forth, contact the police department. Her life could be in danger. Please call the police department. I want my baby home. And I'm asking in the name of Jesus,
Yes.
and I stand on my faith that he's going to bring her home. But if we all can come together and help find her, I'm telling you, we can make a difference. She's been missing. She's been gone too long. I can't sleep. I can't eat. Just bring her home, please. That's all I'm asking. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Just one more, Chief. One more community minister.
And I believe that was right here, that was Shannon, because she had red hair at one point. I seen on her Facebook she had red hair, so that was Shannon right here. So that's what I went back to, and I wanted to watch this and their initial reaction to this whole thing. And this was around 11 months ago, so this was about what, a month or so after she went missing. Stop, Cassidy. What are you doing?
I'm not biting.
Move around.
Ew. Mama.
Then this one right here is the
I became a medical assistant in
investigator.
less than 7 months. Let me show you how. You're not going to believe how easy
Okay, she's so fake.
this is. Is heading over to med surg.
Stop.
Yes.
Now his testimony really pissed me off too, because I just felt like he did not care from the get-go. This is the man that was working for the Detroit public school police department, I guess, or whatever. So this is what he had to say.
Your name for the record, sir?
Derek Wolf.
And what do you do for a living currently?
I work at 36 District Court as a court officer.
And how long have you worked at 36 District Court?
2 months.
And prior to that, where did you work at?
Detroit Public School Police Department.
And how long did you in total work for the Detroit Public Schools?
17 and a half years.
You worked for DPS for 17 and a half years?
Yes.
And how long have you been in law enforcement in total?
39 years.
Before DPS, who did you work for?
I retired from Detroit Police Department.
And what were some of your common roles and responsibilities at the Detroit Public Schools Police Department?
We go to the school. Sometimes we talk to the kids. We take care of the building, take care of the principals, we take care of the family, and make sure everybody's about the law.
And in January of 2024, what was your assignment at the DPS Police Department?
I was assigned to investigations.
And as part of that assignment, does that include going out and taking reports from people who are making police reports to the school police department?
Yes.
I want to direct your attention to January 10th, 2024. Did you go to J.E. Clark School in Detroit?
Yes.
And what was the reason you went there, sir?
I got sent there by my lieutenant about a missing 13-year-old young lady from the school.
And when you went there, did you speak with someone who was making that report?
Yes.
Who was that person?
I talked to her guardian, or grandmother, which is her guardian.
And is that Annette Harris?
Yes.
And in terms of taking that report, what's that process like? I don't want to go into what anybody said to you, but what information are you looking for to gather to put into your report?
Okay, I'm making a missing report. So I asked Ms. Harris, when's the last time you seen her daughter? Her granddaughter. Description of what she had on. Has she ever been missing before? Does she have a boyfriend? Or she have friends she might go by the house and stay? Things of that.
Exactly, chaos. Exactly. He's talking about he look like a parasite. Hold on, y'all.
Sort.
And did you ask Ms. Harris all of those questions and get her answers?
Yes.
And then did you write an actual report?
Yes.
After you write that report, do you have any role in actually investigating to attempting to locate the missing person?
Yes.
Okay, what did you do after writing the report?
After I did the report, I canvassed the area looking for this young lady, although she was gone for at least 24 hours because she was missing the day before. And then from that point, we didn't find anything. So I found out the bus number that she was on. I got the video, and it shows where she got off the bus at Cornwell and 3 Mile.
Said Cornwell and 3 Mile?
Cornwell and 3 Mile.
Okay.
And From that point, like I said, we went to the house, talked to the guardian again, talked to some of the people in the house, and then we went on in and let it go from there.
Sorry, just to be clear, you keep on saying we. Are you doing these things with a partner?
Yes.
And who is that partner?
Dale Gardner.
Okay. Judge, may I approach?
Yes.
I'm approaching with what's already been admitted as People's Exhibit 2. Do you recognize that, sir?
Yes.
And what is that is contained in Exhibit 2?
School bus.
And is that a still shot from the video that you pulled or that you received?
Yes.
Oh. And that's the bus that you identified that Neziah Harris was on?
Yes.
Oh.
He looking like he just ready for it to be over.
May I have one moment, Judge?
Yes.
I have another question.
And he said 24 hours. They didn't report it until 24 hours, is what he said.
Good afternoon.
Thank you.
Mr. Wolf, you were dispatched to the J. Clark School because you're an investigator for DPS.
I was not dispatched. The lieutenant came to the office and told us to go by the school for the missing.
Oh, so you were requested, your presence was requested at the school?
Yeah, from my lieutenant.
I think this whole thing was an operation, to be honest. You know how I feel about Matrix agents and things like that. I think that all of this was a operation, and I believe that Neziah, she was the one that was chosen in her family. She was the one that was targeted. She was supposed to be the one that was supposed to break this generational curse, because we know that the whole family, this is a generational thing, okay? But we gonna get into that.
You don't have an office within the school,
No.
so you're not like the school resource officer per se?
No.
Okay. And you said you met with Ms. Annette Harris on the 10th,
Yes.
and that's of January 2024.
January. Yes.
That was early in the morning,
Around between 11 and 12.
so school was in session at that time.
Yes.
Did you speak with the teacher who was in Neziah's classroom on the 9th of January?
No.
Did you speak with any of Neziah's known friends?
In the investigation, yes.
You did. Who did you speak to?
I can't recall that.
Did you write them in a report?
No, not in a missing report.
Okay, so you spoke with folks, but you didn't record their names?
I recorded it probably on my run sheet, but not inside the missing report.
And you didn't take statements from anybody,
No, not a tenor.
ever?
No.
Okay. Did you speak with
Now,
anybody
why
else
he
at
ain't take
school,
statement?
about Neziah, either on the 10th or any time after that?
Only other chance I talked to the guardian, which is the grandmother, and a couple of students.
A couple.
Yes.
Okay. Do you know how many?
A couple, too.
2. Okay. Just want to make sure we have the same definition of a couple. And you said you canvassed the area?
Yes.
What area did you canvass?
The 3 Mile area, we were all around there, checking the alleys, knocking on doors, see if we can get some video, doorbell, camera footage, things like that.
3 Mile, is that 3 Mile Drive?
3 Mile in Cornwall, that area.
Okay, and that's where the bus stop was?
Yes.
Where,
Look at Jarvis' ass. He sat behind that detective and everybody else the whole time. Every day he back here looking just like this, like a coward.
where Neziah would have gotten off the bus?
Yes.
Anywhere else around the school?
We checked around the schools. We checked on, matter of fact, on her street as well. We didn't find anything.
In her classroom, does she have a locker or a cubby or anything where she stores items?
I can't answer that question.
You don't know?
I don't know.
Fair to say then that you didn't check?
I may have, but I can't recall right now because
Is
it's
there
been such a long time.
Is there a report that documents whether you did or not?
No.
Okay. And after you did the canvas of the area of 3 Mile Drive in Cornwall, what else did you do?
I went back to the station advise the lieutenant of what we came up with,
Which was what?
which was I talked to the parent, the grandparent, talked to a couple of students. We didn't find anything from doing our search of the area.
So did you do anything else in regards to investigating?
No, I did not, because I was getting ready to retire, so I was done.
Okay.
He said because he was getting ready to retire, he was done. He did not care at all.
I don't have anything further.
Any redirect?
Very briefly, Judge. How long, you were first notified about this on the 10th, correct?
Yes.
And how long did you stay involved in the investigation?
That day.
Okay, so your activities that Ms. Quick asked you about contained all happened on the 10th of January.
Yes.
What happened to the investigation after the 10th?
If someone else's investigation would have took over, besides me, because once again I was leaving, but I gave all the information that I had along with my run sheet as well. So
It was
from
passed
that
off to another investigator?
yeah, it would be. Yeah.
Okay, and then are you aware of what happened after that?
No.
And you said that on the 10th, your lieutenant came in and asked you to go to J.E. Clark?
Yes.
And who is your lieutenant?
At the time it was George Harris.
Okay. I know you've heard of it.
I just clarification. You said you were leaving. Are you mean leaving DPS or leaving
Yeah.
for the day?
Retiring.
Thank you. Any questions based off of my question?
No, Judge.
Okay, you were all done.
Look his ass. He don't care. He did not care. He got up like, what? And I just be watching the judge. She just look at them with such disgust. Every last person that got up there on that stand, she just got this look of disgust. She say with this big cosmic chaos, you ain't playing. She say, yeah. So then, now these other ones are kind of long. So I might just turn the speed up on those so we won't, because they was talking kind of slow. But if you want me to slow it down, just let me know. If you can't hear it too clearly, let me know. I try to do my best to accommodate that. But that one was important because he didn't take notes like he should have. He didn't do anything that he should have been doing because he felt like he was retiring. So he didn't owe anybody anything but to go home and retire, right? And then he claimed, he was like, well, I let the grandparents know, I let her know and the family know, like, it really was nothing. That's because that grandma and that family did not make this out to be a serious thing. They approached it like she ran away with her fast ass and she want to go out and get some, what, right? That was the attitude and disposition of the family. So why would they expect anybody else to show up and go crazy about Naziah if they wasn't even coming with that type of energy? You get what I'm saying? Say greetings, chat. Greetings.
Mama.
I don't know. I admire you too, Cosmic. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yes. So, this is the sister. So y'all want to do the sister or the fiance first? Which one? Because I just saved some videos. Or y'all want to do Shannon or the grandma? Did I say the grandma? Y'all want to do the grandma?
Mama.
Y'all want to watch hers? Because which one y'all want to do next? Because I'm telling y'all, I done watched a lot of these interviews or videos a few times. But hey, we might have missed something. But okay, so I'm gonna just go ahead and do the I guess I'm gonna do the grandma because she the guardian and shit. She the
5
guardian.
minutes ago, she'd never play piano.
She's walking up the stairs here.
Okay.
Speak clearly in the mic. You can get up and put it in your lap too if you like.
Okay, thank you.
Whenever ready, Mr. Makepeace.
Thank you. Could you state your name for the record?
And then Harris.
And Ms. Harris, do you know someone or did you know someone by the name of Neziah Harris?
Yes,
And who is Neziah to you?
my granddaughter.
Are you her legal guardian?
Yes, I am.
When did you become her legal guardian?
I adopted Neziah back in 2016.
And that was court work or paperwork filed and all that to legally adopt her?
Yes, it took a process.
Oh.
Yes,
And back in January of 2024, did Neziah live with you?
yes,
I don't want to know the specific address, but what street did you live on?
Bedford.
And is that in the city of Detroit, Wayne County?
Yes, it is.
How long had Neziah been living with you at that address on Bedford?
Oh, wow. Yeah, basically, I mean, ever since I had her. I mean,
Since 2016?
well, we moved to another house.
Okay, when did you move into the Bedford house?
Let me see, 2019, we moved in that house and then moved in the house that I am now, which is still on Bedford.
Okay. And did Neziah make those moves with you?
Yes.
And in January of 2024, at that Bedford location, who else lived there?
Just me, the kids. My other daughter lived with me at the other address. But it was just basically me and my kids and Shannon,
And who is Shannon?
my daughter,
And what's her last name?
Harris,
And she lived with you and Neziah and the other kids at the Bedford location?
at the first Bedford location.
Okay. At
Yes.
that first Bedford location, how many other kids in addition to Neziah lived there?
My other two, my grandson and my other grandchildren.
Okay. So how many kids total in that house?
Let's see. 6 children, 6.
And you and Shannon, correct?
Well,
Living there.
Shannon, she was there, but she wasn't really like there all the time.
Okay.
She would spend more majority of her time at my house, but actually Shannon had her place out in Clinton Township.
And when you were there in January of 24, how old was Neziah at that time?
January 24th, she had 13. She had her birthday in September.
And was she going to school?
Yes, she was.
What school did she attend?
J.E. Clark Preparatory Academy.
And is that also in Detroit?
Yes, it is.
Just generally, can you tell us about your morning routine with the kids, specifically Neziah, about getting them to school and things like that?
Sure. Okay. 6 a.m. That's when I get the children up. They usually get up, get dressed, prepare themselves. About 7:15, 7:20, we're basically saying prayer and we're loading up in the car. I'm dropping them off at school at 7:30. Breakfast starts at 7:30, and they like to eat breakfast at school.
And does that include Neziah? You would drop her off at J.E. Clark?
All together, yes.
Now, I want to talk about, let me ask it this way. Did you know someone by the name of Jarvis Butts?
Yes.
And do you see Mr. Butts in the courtroom today?
Now she want to act
Can
dumb.
you stand up and look around?
I don't have my glasses on. I don't see.
Do you need glasses?
Yeah, my daughter has my glasses.
Okay, Judge, may I take a moment to get your glasses?
Yes.
Hey, stick with me for 5 minutes. I'll show you how to replace your entire teaching salary teaching online just a few hours a week with guaranteed.
May I first witness?
Yes.
Thank you.
And you can just stand up and take another look.
Okay. Yes.
Do you see Mr. Butts in the courtroom today?
Yes.
Could you
Yes.
point to him and identify a piece of clothing that he's wearing?
Blue uniform with a blue mask.
For the record, the witness.
It's like, so you mean to tell me you ain't see him sitting right there when you walked in? It really took for you to get your glasses to act like you don't. That's because she's trying to paint a narrative. She trying to get everybody to believe that she really didn't have that much contact with him. He really wasn't in her house. I believe she practiced her story before she got there, and she followed through with whatever narrative she created in her head to try to protect her and them checks and that money that she get for them kids.
This is identified Jarvis Butts, the defendant in this matter.
Summer Blackie?
And may I approach the witness again, Judge?
Yeah.
I'm approaching with what's already been admitted as People's 9. And Ms. Harris, do you recognize the person in that photo?
Yes,
And who is that person?
Jarvis Butts.
And is that the same person you've identified in court here today?
Yes.
And Ms. Harris, how did you know Mr. Butts back in January of 2024?
He's the father of my daughter's children.
And is that daughter Shannon Harris?
Yes.
Okay. How many kids do they have together?
5.
And would he come around your house on Bedford in January or the months leading up to January?
Whenever he did come, he would always pull up in a white truck, and Shannon would go out to the car, and they would sit and talk or whatever. But he would very rarely come in my house.
And during that time when he would come around and sit in his car, was there any times that he would interact with Naziah that you saw?
Not that I remember, no.
Okay. Now I want to talk specifically about January 9th. You had described your morning routine with the kids. Did you follow that routine on January 9th?
Yes, I did.
And did that include dropping Naziah off at J.E. Clark 7:15 to 7:30?
Yes.
And can you tell us what she was wearing on January 9th, 2024?
Yes, she was wearing a pair of light powdered blue jeans with a light powdered blue jacket that had the black little fur around the collar. It was like a 2-piece set.
And did you have a sweater on or a shirt on or something?
She had a shirt. She wore a shirt underneath it.
And you remember, did she have any other clothes with her on the 9th when you dropped her off?
She had her little blue sweatshirt with the little hoodie. She had that with her.
And do you know how or when she got that hoodie?
I bought that hoodie for her. I guess it was in the fall sometime when I bought it. It wasn't nothing new. It was just one of her old hoodie jackets she used when she go to gym.
Okay. And in terms of, if you know, the condition of that hoodie on the 9th, was it torn, ripped, damaged in any way?
No, it was fairly good. Like kind of like still new because she took pretty good care of her things.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
May I approach you?
Yes.
I'm approaching with People's Proposed Exhibit 12. Ms. Harris, do you recognize what I just handed you?
Yes.
And is that a picture of Naziah?
Yes.
And do you know when that picture was taken?
The same day, January the 9th, she took this picture.
Oh, move to admit People's Proposed 12.
Any objection?
Objection.
It'll be admitted as People's Exhibit 12.
And when you dropped Naziah off at J.E. Clark, what was the routine supposed to be after school was over?
Okay, well, school was over. The bell rings at 2:40. Naziah was due to come home. And normally when the bell rings, 2:40, 2:45, she's getting on the bus.
And that's what she normally did on other days?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yes, I'm sorry.
And
Yes.
what time would you normally arrive back at home?
The Naziah would be walking in through the door maybe 3:05, no later than that.
And on January 9th, did she walk in at 3:05?
No, she did not.
And were you home when she didn't come home?
I was there for a little while, but I left out to run some errands. But no, when I got to the house, she was not there.
And at that time, did you have a conversation with someone else about her not coming home, Naziah not coming home?
Yeah, when I picked my children up from the after school program, I went in and my daughter said,
Objection to what a daughter said, it's 20 years.
Attention retirees, if you're willing to be at your computer from 9 a.m. to 10:45 a.m. on most weekdays.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
I'll rephrase the question.
Okay, so say.
Just talking about what you saw and heard, and not asking for what.
She is talking about her granddaughter Naziah. This is the grandmother, so yeah, she's talking about her, and she does not have any emotion.
What anybody said, but did you talk to Shannon, your daughter?
yes. Shannon said she was not there.
Okay. When you got home that day on the 9th, was Nasiah there?
No.
And did you eventually make a police report about her missing?
Yes, I did. Yes,
And when did you do that?
That morning when I got to school, I went up and dropped the kids off to school. I talked with the dean and the principal, and I told them that I was on my way to the police station, and they told me that they would call the police, and the police, DPS police came there.
And you said DPS, is that Detroit Public Schools?
Yeah.
And did you talk to an officer at that time at the school?
Yes, I did.
And was that at J.E. Clark physically at that location?
Yes.
And you said that morning, are you talking about the morning of the 10th?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Was Nasiah active on social media, if you know?
Well, as far as I know, she was. I mean, there were times that she was sneaking and go on it, you know. But yeah, she was.
And did you keep track of her social media pages like TikTok or Facebook or anything like that?
I tried. A lot of times, you know, I would take her phone and stuff from her, you know, so, you know, to keep her from being on there, you know.
And after the 9th, did you ever see any posts made by Nasiah?
I didn't see any posts. Most of the time, you know, if there was a post or something, or she posts, my daughter or someone would call me and tell me.
Have you ever heard after the 9th, any communication or seen Nasiah?
Mm-hmm.
When, is that a no?
No.
And when you dropped her off on the 9th at school at J.E. Clark, was that the last time you saw her?
Yes.
May I have one more, Trish?
Yes.
Just to follow up, I did forget to ask this. Her bus stop, how far from your house was that in walking distance?
5 minutes.
Do you know where the location that she got dropped off at was, the address or the intersection?
Right there at a 3 Mile Drive in Cornwall.
And that's 5 minutes from your house?
Yeah.
And did Nasiah have any nicknames that people called her?
Where her family called her Tutu, but I've always called her Glamorous. I've been calling her that ever since she was born.
Say Glamour?
Glamorous.
Oh. May I have one more, Trish?
Yes. You said Tutu?
Tutu. Mm-hmm.
Girl, please, to my glamorous.
I know the question.
Okay.
Good morning, Sheriff.
Good morning.
Now, you are Nasiah's maternal grandmother, right?
Correct.
You're also her adopted parent, right?
Correct.
And you said you adopted her in 2016?
Yeah, should have been 16.
Okay. Is her birth mother still around?
She is.
Okay. Does she have a relationship with her?
No.
She doesn't have any type of relationship, no contact with her that you know of?
Well, let me say this. I don't deal with my daughter, so she really didn't have no contact with Nasiah like that. She only came around now and then.
Now y'all know she ain't deal with her own daughter, how she feel about them kids. I don't believe nobody that despise the adult, the mother to them children, actually has some real love for them kids.
And you testified that you currently stay on Bedford Street?
Yes.
In fact, I think you testified you live on 2 houses on Bedford Street.
Correct.
And did not Nasiah have friends on Bedford Street that you were aware of?
She had friends, but her friends didn't live on Bedford.
Okay. Do you know if she ever had any friends over?
No.
Did she ever spend the night at any of these friends' houses?
No.
And at your prior neighborhood, did she have friends that she may have spent the night over?
No.
Okay. You indicated that there are approximately 6 children in the house?
Well, not now. When he asked me about the address,
yes,
I lived at 2 houses, which is on the same street of Bedford.
Okay.
Okay. So the house that we lived in before, it was my children and my daughter's children.
Your daughter being Shannon?
No, Marquita.
Marquita, okay. And did Nasiah have any close relationship with any of these children particularly?
She was close with my granddaughter, one of my granddaughters, yeah.
Which granddaughter is that?
Nasiah. I mean, Janiyah.
Okay.
All of their names are similar.
Ain't nobody laughing with you. She kept trying to laugh a little bit. Girl, please.
Is Shannon's daughter?
Yes,
That would be Jarvis's daughter as well, correct?
correct.
And at your Governor Street address, how many adults live there?
Just me and Shannon.
Okay. When did Shannon move in?
I'm sorry.
When did Shannon move in to Bedford?
Oh, I guess back in last October or something.
That would be October of 23?
Yeah.
So in January of 24, she was there, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, is that yes?
Yes. Yes.
And you indicated that Desire participated in social media?
She did. She did participate in social media. She was on social media a lot of times when she wasn't supposed to be.
So did you see her post or did you follow her post?
I didn't see her really posting anything. I mean, at times when I did check, I didn't find anything.
Okay.
And most of the time, if she did post something, my daughter's then would, let me know, if she posted something. Right.
So you don't know who her social media friends were?
The only person that I know that was one of her classmates that she would post little things with one of her little classmates.
Okay. But it's fair to say there are some things you did not know.
Yeah, well, something, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, you indicated that you drove Desire to school every day, correct?
Correct.
Who else went to school with Desire?
My other two children, Shannon's children.
Okay. And what type of student was Desire?
Desire was a very good student, very mannerable, very outgoing. She got good grades. Her attendance was good. The teachers had no problem with her. They really liked Desire. Desire got along with just about anybody. She was very likable.
Did she have any disciplinary problems?
No.
Do you recall her ever getting into a fight?
She did.
One fight, more than one fight?
There was a young lady that she had a couple of, consultations with in school. And it was like an ongoing situation.
Okay. And when did this first start?
I'm not quite sure when it started, but it was like off and on, with this particular schoolmate that she had.
And this is for her current school, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, did Desire participate in any extracurricular activities? Was she on band or anything?
She liked it. Gym, robotics, art. I mean, she liked a lot of things that she was, involved in,
And would any of these things cause her to have stayed after school?
The only time she stayed after school is when she wanted to be enrolled in the after school program.
Just one. I just want to step back a moment. We asked you about her social media. You said there were some things that you weren't aware of on social media, correct? Did you ever check her direct messages?
Like I said, I did, but when I did, there was nothing on there.
There was nothing?
No.
Okay. Did you monitor any of her conversations?
Yeah, I would, go check,
Okay.
But like I said, a lot of times, I took Nazia's tablet, from her at one point, so there was really nothing that I knew of that she was on unless she got somebody's cell phone or something,
Okay. So you did mention that she had a tablet. How many devices did she have that allowed her to connect to social media?
She only had that one tablet that I had bought her. And like I said, I took that tablet and put that tablet up.
Have you noticed YouTube has way more ads than it used to? Here's how you can block them for free.
This is Pi, and it blocks ads everywhere you
So on January 9th, you took her to school, correct?
Correct.
And you said it was her and two of your other children that went to school?
My two other children and my daughter's children. I dropped them all off.
And you said that you noticed that she did not come home at her normal time.
Correct.
All right. You did not call the police then, correct?
No. Driving around looking for her. My daughter reached out to some of her classmates. I did.
Look how she just started saying, like she was already saying, but now that kind of triggered her to kind of go in some type of flight mode. Y'all notice that? Like she got stressed out or something real quick. And that's because she knows she waited too damn long to go up to that school or go to the police.
Nothing. And that morning, I got up. And like I said,
You took her to school, correct?
Correct.
And you said it was her and two of your other children that went to school?
My two other children and my daughter's children. I dropped them all off.
And you said that you noticed that she did not come home at her normal time.
Correct.
All right. You did not call the police then, correct?
No. Driving around looking for her. My daughter reached out to some of her classmates. I did. Nothing. And that morning, I got up. And like I said, I went straight to the school.
Y'all heard her. She said she did nothing. She literally said, I did nothing. That she can't go back on them words. Because eventually, I think they all going to get in trouble for what they did. Because them hours were so critical from the time Naziah got out of school to the time 9 p.m. that next night. Those were some critical hours. So you to say you did absolutely nothing, shame on you as a grand.
And from there, I was on my way to the police station to make the report. And they called the police from there. DPS police came to the school.
So the first report she made to the police was the next morning?
Yes.
You know approximately what time?
I got, well, school starts at 7:30. So I got there at 7:30. They got there about, I don't know, maybe 8.
So you didn't go to the precinct, you went to the school and the school called police?
Yes, they called the police because I was getting ready to leave. And the dean said, no, stay here. She said, and we'll call the police.
Okay. Now, you mentioned that you are familiar with Mr. Butts, correct?
I know Mr. Butts.
Okay. And he dated your daughter, Shannon, correct?
Correct.
They did have 5 children, correct?
Correct.
And did all the children stay with you and Shannon?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I don't want to get too much detail on the kids. What were the mix, boys and girls?
Can you repeat that?
What were the mix of the kids, boys and girls?
Well, I have a boy and girl, and Shannon has her 3 boys and her 2 girls.
So she had 3 boys and the 2 girls. Okay. And at any time, now I think you did indicate that Mr. Butts would come over and I think you said he would rarely come in, correct?
Mm-hmm.
But he would come in on occasion, correct?
Not really on occasions, because most of the time when he came in, he would pull up in my driveway and my daughter would go out to the truck, and a lot of times the kids will go out to the truck. So it was very rare if he ever came in my house.
Okay. And you indicated that you were close, you were close with Naziah?
Yes.
Can you think of any reason that Naziah would not share information with you?
No. Naziah would come to me and talk to me all the time.
Okay.
If something was bothering her, or if she had a bad day in school, she'll come to me and we'll sit and talk about it. I always kept the door open for communication with Naziah and with really all of my children. So she always felt free, to come to me and sit down and talk to me about whatever.
So if something was frustrating Naziah, she would come with you?
She would, that I know of, yes.
Right. If something was scaring Naziah, she would come to you?
If something was bothering her or she was frustrated about something, she would come to me and say, hey, man, can I talk to you?
If there was any medical condition, she would come to you regarding that?
I believe she would, yes.
And you take her to the hospital, take her to the doctor?
Yes.
Okay. Just a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Can you redirect?
Ms. Harris, I just have a couple more questions for you. When Mr. Riggins was asking you questions, you said that Mr. Butts would come and sit in his car, right, outside your house?
Yes.
And you said that the kids would go out to the car.
Yes.
Which kids would go out to the car?
His kids.
Would Nasiah ever go with his kids out to the car?
If Shannon was out there, she would.
And Mr. Riggins also asked you about the tablet that you bought for Nasiah. Do you
Yes.
remember those questions?
Yes.
And when, if you can remember, narrow that down, when did you buy that tablet for her?
I bought that tablet for her one Christmas. I think it was I think it was in 22 when I bought that tablet, at the end of 22 when I bought that tablet for her.
So December of 22?
Yeah, I think when I bought that tablet.
So she would have had that tablet for roughly just over a year then, correct?
Correct.
And did Nasiah also have access to a cell phone?
The only cell phone she had access to was one of the cell phones when my oldest daughter came to visit me. She gave to Nasiah, but she can only use it by Wi-Fi.
You said your oldest daughter, is that Nasiah's biological mother?
Yes.
Okay. And through, what's your oldest daughter's name?
Kenyatta Harris.
Through Kenyatta Harris, Nasiah got access to a phone?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
Mr. Riggins also asked you about Nasiah staying after school. You said that there was an after-school program she was involved in?
Yes.
On January 9th and in January of 24, was she still involved in that program?
No, I took her out of it because she was having problems with one of her schoolmates at that time. The same person that he asked me about before that she didn't get along with.
The same person Mr. Riggins asked you?
Absolutely.
And so on the 9th, she was not supposed to stay after school?
No, she was supposed to come straight home.
And when she didn't come home, you said that you were driving around looking for her, correct?
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit more about what efforts you made on the night to locate her?
When I went to the school to go pick my son and daughter up because they were also in the after school program, picked them up, went back to the house. I thought she was there, and when I got to the house and I found out that she wasn't there, I got back in the car and I went back up to the school. And by that time, nobody was there. Nobody was at the school. So now, I mean, I'm kind of like, I'm frustrated. Now I'm going like, because whenever she wants to stay after school or do something, she would always call me. Well, hey, Nana, can I stay after school? Or she would call one of her TTs, hey, TT, can I stay after school? So that wasn't like her. So I'm really frustrated now. So now I go back to the house and I'm talking to my daughter, Shannon.
I want to stop you right there because I don't want to go into what anybody else said.
Okay.
But you went back to the school. Nobody was at the school. You went back to the house. Nasiah is still not there, correct?
Correct.
Did you go back out looking for her after that?
I did.
Where did you go looking?
I was driving around in the neighborhood, everywhere. I'm just looking, just like hoping I'll see her,
On the 9th, when you were looking for her, well, let me ask it this way. Did you know Nasiah to go to Mr. Butts' place of work to assist him with anything there?
Yes, there was a couple of times that she went with his daughter and they went up there to go clean up at his shop.
And how would they get there?
He would come and pick them up.
And was that in that white truck that you talked about?
Yes.
Now, mind you, she say he don't come in her house, and the face that she made was, oh hell no, he don't come in my house. He stay outside. Why you letting your daughter, your granddaughter, go off with this man that you don't even like? You don't even want him in your house, but you allow her to go get in his truck and go to a shop that you have no idea where it's located at? She full of shit, period.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And did you yourself know where Mr. Butts worked at?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you know, where is that?
It was Frank's shop located on East Warren.
And is that the last place that you knew him to work? Or did you know him to work somewhere else?
I knew him to work there, and then the shop moved to a different location.
Did you know where that new location was?
Personally, no.
Okay. And did you ever, on the 9th, did you ever try and go to Mr. Butts' place of work to look for Nasiah?
On the 9th, no.
Nothing further, Justin.
So y'all see what I'm saying about the grandma? It's like she's not telling the whole truth. And then she knew she fucked up when he asked her, what did she do to go, after she realized that she wasn't at home, after you drove around, you still didn't go to the shop, you still didn't go check where she will normally be, where you would allow her to go with the man at a damn shop. She didn't go. She didn't do it. She didn't do nothing that she felt like that she knows she should have done. She didn't do it. Here. Hold on, y'all. So at this point, this is the let's get into this fiance, quote unquote, because mind you, y'all, he had about at least 10 active relationships. He had at least 10 because the detective had named them everybody that she actually interviewed, and it was outside of Shannon, the fiance, and the girl who car he borrowed.
Right here, and then I'll swear you in. Raise your hand. You swear to tell the truth, no truth, and nothing but the truth. Yes. Watch your step. And once you
Her name is up there at the top, Tashinia Davis.
You just tell you off there.
May I proceed, Judge? Yes. Thank you. Could you state your name for the record, ma'am?
Tashiana Davis.
And Ms. Davis, I want to ask you about someone by the name of Jarvis Butts. Do you know that person?
Yes.
And how do you know Mr. Butts?
He was my fiance.
And do you see Mr. Butts in the courtroom today?
Yes.
Could you point to him and identify a piece of clothing that he's wearing?
She's right there with the top on.
For the record, the witness has identified the defendant, Jarvis Butts, in this matter.
So reflect.
Thank you. And how long, you said he was your fiance.
Yes.
How long in total have you known Mr. Butts?
4 years.
And
2019.
2019?
Mhm.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
And when did you become engaged?
2023.
And can you tell us a little bit about the nature of that relationship? Do you have any children with him? Things like that.
No children.
Okay. And would Mr. Butts sometimes stay over at your house?
Yes.
How often would that happen?
Pretty often, but he didn't live there.
Okay. I want to take your attention back to January of 2024 and February of 2024. Did there come a time when Jarvis Butts asked you to drive him to court?
Yes.
And when was that?
February 7th.
Of 24?
Yes.
And was there a time before that that you had to drive him to court?
Yes.
And when was that?
January, I think it was the 9th.
Okay.
It was in January.
So you've at least driven him to court twice?
Yes.
And let's talk about the January 9th date that you drove him. What was the reason he wasn't driving himself? Why were you driving him?
Because he thought he was gonna have to turn himself in then for another case, and then they rescheduled it.
Okay, so on the 9th, he was supposed to turn himself in, but didn't actually end up doing that.
Correct.
Okay. And then on the 7th, did he ask you to drive him to court again?
Yes.
And what was the reason that you drove him to court on the 7th?
Because he was supposed to turn himself in.
And did he end up turning himself in on the 7th?
Yes.
Okay. When you were driving him on the 7th of February 2024, first, what kind of car do you drive?
2005 Suburban.
And what color is it?
Tan.
And when you were driving him to court, who else was with you, if anyone?
Nobody.
Just you and Mr. Butts?
Yes.
And when you were driving to court, did you ask him about his cell phone?
Yes.
What did you ask him?
I said, "Where's your phone?"
And what was his response when you asked him that question?
He left it at home.
And did you have any other conversation regarding his phone on the 7th when you were driving him to court?
No.
And what did you said he didn't turn himself in?
Yes.
And so you drove back home, correct?
Yes.
Did you eventually have some contact with the police department?
Yes.
And where were you when you had that contact?
In the hospital.
And what did they ask you about generally?
Did I know anything about a missing child?
And do you know anything about missing child?
No.
Did they ask you about his cell phone?
Yeah, I believe so.
And did you know or have any reason to believe, other than what Jarvis told you, that his phone was someplace else?
No.
And did you know that his phone was in your car?
No.
Did you give permission to the police to search your car?
No, they just came and took it.
They had a search warrant?
Yeah.
Okay. And were you present at your house when they came and took your car?
No.
And did you observe them search through your car and pull anything out?
No.
Oh. May I have one moment, Judge?
Yes.
And you said you knew driver's license for 4 years?
Yes.
And would you communicate with him via cell phone?
Yes.
And do you know the last 4 digits of his phone number, if you remember? If you don't remember,
I don't remember.
okay. With looking at text messages, refresh your memory?
Yes.
May I approach, Judge?
Yes.
If you could just look at the phone numbers on there.
The first one.
And does that refresh your memory?
Yes.
And what were the last 4 digits of Jarvis Butts' phone number?
8719.
If you're taking anatomy and physiology for the first time, I can guarantee it's not like any course that you've ever taken. And that's
At some point after you dropped Jarvis Butts off at the courthouse and he turned himself in, did you go to his place of employment at 9,000 Connors?
No.
Okay. Did you ever talk to his business partner, Cordell Wright?
No.
Okay. I have another further question.
Morning, Ms. Davis. You met Mr. Butts at Frank's Garage, is that right?
Yes.
And that's where Mr. Butts was working about 4 years ago.
Yes.
You were taking your car there?
Yes.
And I think in your words, you said you kind of never left after you met him. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
You guys got along really well?
Yes.
And you just kind of started a relationship from there?
Yes.
Would you go up to the garage after that relationship started?
Yes.
Kind of just to drop in?
Yes.
At any point in time while you were at Frank's Garage, did you ever see any children there?
No.
Is it fair to say that Mr. Butts was very protective of his phone around you?
Yes.
He would never let you see his phone screen?
No.
Wouldn't give you access?
No.
Certainly didn't give you his passcode or anything? In fact, you've actually actively tried to get into his phone, right?
Yes.
I think you had mentioned that when he was sleeping, you tried to kind of wave it in front of him to see if that would unlock it.
Mhm.
You took a picture of his face once and tried to
Yes.
put the screens together. So you wanted to know what was in his phone.
Yes.
And he did not want you to know what was in his phone,
No.
as far as you know?
Mhm.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
Did you ever talk to him about why he was so secretive with his phone?
Yes.
And does it have something to do with the fact that he was seeing other ladies?
Yes.
And you suspected that at the time?
Yes.
And so that's why you were looking for proof?
Correct.
Okay. So even though you suspected that Mr. Butts was unfaithful to you, you still stayed with him?
Yes.
One reason for that is because he was good with the kids?
Yes.
He cared for your kids?
Yes.
He took them places?
Yes.
He took your son up to the shop?
Yes.
He showed him how to change the oil in the car?
Correct.
And you viewed him as a good father figure?
Yes.
Did you ever see anything inappropriate or that would cause you to see a red flag with regard to him and your children?
No.
Did you ever see him acting inappropriately with any other children?
No.
Certainly, if you had, you would not have allowed him in your house.
No,
Fair to say?
absolutely not.
You knew that Mr. Butts had other children, right?
Yes.
With a woman named Angel
Yes.
and a woman named Shannon.
Yes.
He talked about his children with you.
Yes.
Did he ever talk to you about his niece?
No.
About how often would Mr. Butts stay with you on any given week?
Maybe like twice.
Were they like the same days or was it random?
Random.
Okay. About what time would he come over?
After his work hours. After like 6 o'clock.
Okay, so you think he would come kind of straight from work?
No, he would probably do something else and then be there later on in the night.
Okay, so closer to like 9, 10?
Yes.
Okay. Would he stay the night with you?
Till about 2 o'clock in the morning, 3, and then he would leave.
Okay. Do you know how he would get to your home?
A couple of times he was in a white truck, a white Cadillac truck. Sometime I think he would walk. If he was coming straight from the shop, he would walk. Or if he had my truck, that's how we would get back.
And that's the Suburban?
Yes.
Did you know Mr. Butts to ever have his own vehicle?
Yes. He had a white Chrysler truck, van like.
Okay. And when did you know him to drive that?
Like maybe the first 2 years we were together.
Okay. Now, when Mr. Butts would come visit you, would he park in your driveway?
Yes.
Would he spend weekends with you also?
Yes.
1 second. I don't have anything else. Thank you.
Ms. Davis, I just have a couple more questions for you. Ms. Quick asked you about Mr. Butts being secretive with his phone. Can you tell me about a time that you had a conversation with him about him being secretive or something like that?
He would never really say anything. He talked in circles. So if you try to ask him a question, it's just always, you can never get a straight answer out of him.
But fair enough, you had multiple conversations about his phone and your access to it, I guess, or lack thereof.
Yes.
And Ms. Quick also asked you about Mr. Butts staying over the night at your house. You said that he would leave around 2 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
Do you know where he would go when he would leave?
No.
Did he ever tell you where he was going?
Home.
Did you know where he himself called home?
Yes.
Where was that at?
Wilshire.
And you said he would walk from his place of employment if he was coming straight from there, right?
Yes.
How far from that on Connors, the auto shop on Connors, do you live? How far of a walk?
No, that was when he was on Warren.
Warren and Neff?
Yes.
How far of a walk from that location?
Like 4 blocks.
And did you ever see him drive but not park in your driveway or up front of your house? Can you tell me a little bit about that?
He parked around the corner and he would walk to my house.
And do you know
he was in the white Cadillac truck.
You said Cadillac?
Yes.
Oh. Was that an Escalade? If you know.
I don't know.
Okay. And do you know the reason why he would park around the corner?
I don't know. I asked and he would just be like, I didn't drive.
But then would you see his truck?
I would see the truck.
Anyone more?
Yes.
One last question. You said he lived or called home in Wilshire?
Yes.
Have you ever been to that house?
Yes.
Have you ever been inside that house?
No.
No, you've heard of it.
Okay, Ms. Davis, we're done testifying. Watch your step. Another response.
All right, y'all still with me? I be trying not to stop it while it's rolling because I don't want to interrupt the broadcast. But this was his fiance, quote unquote, this was just another one of his females because she never spent the night with him. According to her, he would leave at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. She knew he stayed on a street named Wilshire. Now, mind you, she didn't know, or she didn't state that was actually another female house on Wilshire that he actually stayed with. That's the address that he used, is the address on Wilshire. Okay. So, trying to see which one I want to use. I don't know why my little picture down there at the bottom. But anyway, she stayed on around the corner from Wilshire. So it wasn't that far. Like she said, he used to walk to her house. He would park his truck somewhere up the street. So he would think that she didn't even know, that she seen his truck. She never been to his house before. And basically she was engaged to somebody that she barely even seen. Basically, here go the sister's testimony.
And did you have any numbers for Nasiah?
It was a funny looking area code. The area
I'm
code.
gonna go back because I was watching it.
Liberty Mutual customized my car insurance, so I saved.
Whenever you're ready, Mr. Ripley.
Thank you, Judge. Good morning. Could you please state your name for the record?
Shannon Harris,
And Ms. Harris, how old are you?
31.
And back on January, or in January 2024, where did you live?
But my mom resides with my mother,
With your mother? Okay, who's your mom?
Annette Harris,
And without telling me the exact address, what street did you live on?
Bedford.
And do you have any children?
Yes,
How many kids do you have?
5.
And do all your kids have the same dad?
Yes,
Who's their dad?
Jarvis Butts.
And do you see Jarvis Butts in the courtroom today?
Yes,
And can you point to him and tell me the color of the clothing that he's wearing?
green, blue, whatever. Green.
Green. Your Honor, would the record reflect the witnesses identified the defendant in this case?
So reflected.
Thank you, Judge. And you said your mom's name is Annette. Do you have any sisters?
Yes, 2.
What are their names?
Kenyatta Harris and Marquita Harris.
Are they older, younger, something else?
Oh, there. Marquita is a twin. She's my twin, same age.
And Kenyatta's older?
Yes,
Do you have any nieces or nephews?
yes,
Do you know someone named Neziah Harris?
yes.
What's your relationship to her?
My relationship to her, she is my niece. I'm her aunt.
Okay. And whose daughter is she?
My older sister is Kenyatta Harris.
And did you have any nicknames for Neziah?
Yes, we all called her Tudda.
And is that Tudda?
Yes,
And did Neziah ever know Jarvis through you?
yes.
And when did Neziah and Jarvis first meet?
When she was little, like age 2.
And can you kind of describe the relationship between Neziah and Jarvis?
Should be just the uncle and the niece relationship, no more than that.
How often would Jarvis be around, like at your house with you?
He will call or say, can he come see the kids? Or the kids will ask, can he see their dad? And he will come, pull up either to my house where I used to live or at my mother's house.
Would Neziah ever be around?
All the kids would be around.
To your knowledge, would Neziah ever text Jarvis?
From my knowledge, no, unless I will have her to text.
But to your knowledge, you didn't know of any kind of separate outside relationship?
No.
Enchanted by the idea of studying abroad, you could be one of 2 lucky winners to live.
Cosmic Chaos, where you hear that at, girl? What? No, you say what?
Jarvis Butts to work.
Where did I know him to work at?
Yes.
He worked at 2 different locations. The first location would be on East Warren, and the other location would be on Gratiot and Connor.
And what were those locations?
Those are the auto repair shop.
Would you ever know Neziah to help Jarvis Butts at his shop?
Yes, he will call me and say, hey, if I can get our daughter and Neziah to come and work up at the shop. And I would say, let me ask my mom first regarding Neziah.
And which daughter of yours would that be?
That would be my oldest, Janiyah.
Would you ever know Neziah to go to Jarvis's shop alone?
No.
Now she just flat out said no.
Whose
Wait a
birthday,
minute. She said she didn't know for Neziah to go to his shop alone. What? She just flat out lied.
is on or around September 26th?
That's my my fourth oldest birthday.
Do you recall a birthday party on September 26th of 2022?
Yes.
And was Jarvis there?
No.
Okay. And that would have been his son's birthday party?
Yes.
Were there ever times that you would text Jarvis off of a text now number?
Only time I would text Jarvis off a text now number is if my phone is off. Other than that, no.
And do you recall the numbers that you would text Jarvis from?
Yes.
Okay. And does a 586-510-5161 sound familiar?
Yes.
And what number is that?
That used to be my old number.
And is that number that you would text Jarvis from?
Yes.
And what about a 586-842-4504?
That was the number before this number.
Before the 510 number?
Correct.
Okay. And is that a number?
So Jarvis got his mama friend pregnant when he was 13. Let me know in the chat, y'all. That's crazy. And yeah, I do think they're gonna try to paint him as a victim. But it's cool, Cosmic Chaos, because that's what we do. We like to correct each other so we get our facts straight. Because we want to investigate some real shit with real facts. Okay, so it's cool. But I didn't even know that. So yeah, they are gonna try to paint this man as a victim, but it is what it is. You're still a grown man, and your family should have got you some help. What the hell? You got somebody pregnant at 13, and they ain't think like that lady. Somebody turned him out. Clearly, he was a victim. He was, somebody hurt him. Hurt people. But at the end of the day, we all have to pay the price for our consequences. We all have, especially if you're in the wrong. Especially if you're in the wrong and you already had a case where you served time and you were supposed to be registered in the system. There's no way. This man been making babies since he was 13. Now it makes sense why he got over 20 kids. Let's go, y'all.
We would also text Jarvis from.
Correct.
And what number did you have for Jarvis? 586-510-5161 sound familiar?
Yes.
And what number is that?
That used to be my old number.
And is that number that you would text Jarvis from?
Yes.
And what about a 586-842-4504?
That was the number before this number.
Before the 510 number?
Correct.
Okay. And is that a number you would also text Jarvis from?
Correct.
Right. As far as I know, he didn't register since 2019.
What number did you have for Jarvis Butts?
The 313-585-8719.
And did you have any numbers for Nizaya?
It was a funny looking area code. The area code was a 231.
Okay.
It's not craft.
He had a nurse not to register. I think Jarvis' family thought this shit was normal. I think they probably glorified everything he did. Yeah, I think his family definitely thought this shit was normal. They probably thought it was cute that he got his mama friend pregnant. And is the baby still alive today? You say those post women, look funky. They are supposed to register. So he should have had a warrant out for his arrest or something. Like, this is crazy. Oh.
I want to show you some messages from People's Exhibit 16. and ask you some questions about them, okay?
Okay.
Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes.
It look like her heart beating fast, her chest moving fast. I'm looking close, y'all. I'm like,
I'm going to direct you
nervous.
to messages on or about June 27th of 2023. Do you recall those messages? Did you send any of those messages to Jarvis Butts?
No.
Okay. And do you know, I believe there's a phone number here that's highlighted. Whose phone number do you know that to be?
Jarvis Butts.
Okay. And you don't recall ever sending any of those messages?
No.
Okay. And now I want to direct you to messages from June 28th of 2023. How about any of these? Did you send any of these to Jarvis Butts?
No.
Man, I need to know what what they say. Dang. What the message say, y'all? Damn. Wouldn't it be something if she's saying no, it wasn't her, and then they check them phone records and all of that, and it be her, whatever it is.
What about any messages from July 2nd of 2023? Did you send any of those messages?
No.
Okay, y'all. Look, I'm side-eyeing everybody in this courtroom, because what?
What about messages from August 26th of 2023? Did you send any of those to Jarvis Butts?
I'm sorry, was that 26?
August 26th.
No. These aren't my messages.
Did Jarvis Butts ever tell you that Nasiah texted him to meet up on January 9th, 2024?
No.
Did you tell Jarvis Butts about not being able to locate Nasiah on January 9th, 2024?
Yes.
And tell me, how did you tell him that?
I called him. He didn't answer. I sent him a message asking him, have he seen Tuda any whereabouts? And I said no Tuda, and he responded back. Oh, wow.
I didn't hear what you said. The last part.
Last part, I had, I texted him. Well, at first I called him. He didn't answer. The second time, I sent him a message. Still no Tuda. He replied back, oh, wow.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. And Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes.
And just for record references, I'm showing her what's going to be proposed, People's Exhibit 48. Ms. Harris, those text messages that you just referenced, do you see?
Look, because ain't nobody say for real, for real. I just really pick up on this whole thing is just a show. I don't believe nothing in the Matrix, y'all. All of this I consider the Matrix, and I do feel like Nasiah, this just, this was planned. This was all planned, and it was an operation. That's what I mean when I say that. I just don't trust none of them. I don't trust nothing to do with the court. I don't trust Naziah's family. I don't trust nobody. I feel like they all lied. I feel like they set Naziah up, and the truth is gonna come out. The truth gonna come out for sure.
See those on this page.
He needs to.
Yes.
Okay. And so it's fair to say you stated to Mr. Butts, well, first of all, whose phone number is this at the top?
The phone number is my old telephone number.
Okay. And who is the phone number below that?
Jarvis Butts.
Okay. And is this, I guess, do these fairly and accurately represent these two messages? 3, 4.
It is an incredible way to travel.
Yeah. Something off here.
Messages sent between you and Mr. Butts on January 9th, 2024 through January 11th, 2024.
The first page is, yes, it's correct. Second page is correct.
Man, what do they say? Why is they keeping this secret?
Yes.
Okay. And so on January 9th, like you had indicated before, you had stated that you told him that there was still no Tutta.
Correct.
Okay. And you said he responded, oh, wow.
Correct.
Okay. And on January 11th, was Naziah still missing?
Yes.
Okay. And did you ask Mr. Butts to do something?
At this point, I just asked that if she's going to read from the text message, just admit the exhibit.
I can.
Issue with moving to admit?
No, Judge. Do these fairly and accurately represent text messages between you and your phone to Jarvis and his phone between, well, they start back earlier. Some from December 3rd, 2023 through January 21st of 2024. These fairly and accurately represent text messages between you and your phone to Mr. Butts and his phone?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, I move for the admission of People's Proposed Exhibit 48. Objection.
Okay, they'll be admitted.
Thank you, Judge. So on January 11th, did you ask Mr. Butts to do something?
Yes.
And what is it that you asked him to do?
I asked him, can he share the missing flyer on his Facebook page?
Okay. And did you send him a copy of that missing flyer?
Yes.
Okay. And to backtrack just a little bit, on December 3rd, 2023, do you recall sending messages asking Mr. Butts if he needed Naziah for anything?
Yes, I do remember.
Okay. So do you remember this text on the first page of People's Exhibit 48?
Yes, I do remember this message.
Okay. And did you send that message?
Yes.
Okay. And what did the message say?
Tutta said, do you still need her to?
Okay. And do you know what is that referring to?
It was Tutta had asked me to contact Jarvis and see if he still needed them to clean up.
Okay. And that would be to clean up his shop?
Yes.
Okay. And to fast forward, on January 21st of 2024, you sent some messages to Mr. Butts. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Okay. And can you read these last 3 messages?
These last 3 messages is to be honest, these messages have seen into the inbox to you. I really don't know what to believe anymore. Stay away, Ramon. I mean it. The next message is I don't know what to say or Tutta is on. Since this shit doesn't sit right with me,
call it what you want. I'm good, period. It says, this for life. Nigga, I thought about it, and you can pass it.
Now, notice she said she don't believe him and she don't know what Tuda is on. I feel like she really started to look at her niece as a grown woman. I said this on my live earlier on TikTok, that she did not look at Naziah as no little girl. She looked at her as competition. She was jealous and envious of this little girl.
And don't call me, no need to explain shit. I already see it.
Okay. So you were referencing some messages that you saw in Tada's inbox.
Correct.
Tell me, how did you see some messages? Well, first of all, where these messages, where were they at?
The day of Officer Gardner came to pick up Naziah's tablet. My mom asked me to put it on the charger. I put it on the charger. Officer Gardner, after that, Officer Gardner called and said she's on her way.
You're saying, without saying what?
Okay, I'm sorry. The officer had called and said that they was on their way to come pick up the tablet.
Okay.
Okay. So
Sustained as far as hearsay.
yes, thank you, Judge. Okay, continue.
So the tablet, before the tablet was picked up, I looked inside to this tablet. She has 2 passwords that I normally know. So one of them is referenced for her brother's birthday, and the other one is referenced from my password. So I put the first password in, it didn't work. So I put the second password in. So the first thing I went to was Instagram, which I was scrolling. And I seen Jarvis Butt's Instagram page. I clicked on his page and I seen 2 messages.
Okay, and what were the messages that you saw? Who were they between, first of all?
Naziah, my niece, and Jarvis.
Okay, and what were the messages that you seen?
It was roughly 2 messages that I have seen that I can recall. States.
I'm going to object to this as hearsay. They have not been admitted, and the messages themselves would be the evidence.
Were they of any? Were the messages of a sexual nature?
No.
Okay, and you said.
Honestly, I feel like the judge was out because I kept trying to feel like, what type of vibe she was getting when I first seen this. I feel like maybe she was really trying to get a feel for what they were saying and, their body language and how they were reacting, which was no reaction, no emotion at all. But it's all part of the Matrix. It's all a game to them. It is what it is.
So you saw 2 messages?
Yes.
Okay. Did you see anything else?
It was two sent pictures, but you can't really make anything out. It wasn't nothing there, but it was the picture was sent.
Okay. What did seeing those
Oh,
messages,
you say you come from a Matrix family of judges. Okay, so you saying that, so your sorority sisters. I get what you're saying. Yeah, it's all cults within cults within cults. It's all they all in cahoots with each other.
Well,
even the defense attorney on his side, this is all a operation. This is how they do. He don't have no quote unquote paid attorney, but even if he did, it's still a game to them. It's still a part of that scheme and all that. But see, that's a whole other topic. We'll get into that later.
See no messages. I called him and Jarvis Butts.
Okay.
Called him while he was at work, asked him, what is these messages I seen between you and my niece? And he said, what messages? So there's 2 particular messages that states out in this picture. And he stated that, I don't know, on these messages, I told him what the messages were. And he said it was probably our children was messaging him. And I stated no, because I know how our children will text.
Okay. And reading those messages, is that what caused you to text
Mr. Butts, yes.
Mr. Butts, in that you've seen the messages in the inbox, and you don't really know what to believe anymore?
Correct.
Okay.
She only said she didn't know what to believe anymore because she had in her mind that he could do no wrong. That's why. It wasn't that she didn't have the evidence stating that him and Desire was grooming Desire and that he was a pedo. It wasn't that. She started to debunk who she thought he was in her mind, because now her physical eyes is seeing these text messages, which I believe it was she was been seeing it in person. She been seeing it in person. But she wanted to actually call him out on it now because Neziah missing at this point, and she ain't really got nobody else to blame, or she trying to put the blame on somebody else to keep from taking accountability to why Neziah was missing in the first place. That makes sense. Now she don't know what to believe. You should have been not believing his ass to begin with when your cousins told you that he was a pedo. She told her cousin, oh, people change. And he told me that the little girl that he went to prison for, that case, that child abuse case, that she was lying and she had lied about her age and she believed that people change. Yeah, okay.
Back to January 9th. Were you home that day?
Yes.
Okay. And did you see Neziah that day?
I seen her that morning, correct.
Okay. And do you remember what she was wearing at all?
That she put money on. Yeah, she should have cut all ties with him. You sending money. That's how I know this was a money operation. They probably was tricking off on Neziah. You know, they probably was using her to get money. Ain't no telling how dark and wicked this situation go. And I ain't even trying to be funny. They probably was using that girl to get money. Ain't no telling. Because if she's still putting books on the pedophiles commissary, that's crazy work right there. That's crazy. You know, you got to register your name and all that to send these people something. And when they locked up, people gonna find out that you sending him stuff. I wouldn't even want my name associated with him besides the last name of my children. And I don't even think her children got his last name. I will cut ties, period. But we dealing with some pick-me ass bitches and some delusional bitches that's crazy over men. That's what we dealing with. That's who they are.
Her coat and her uniform at the time, she had on some blue jeans. I don't really recall the outfit. I just know the coat she had on.
What was the coat that she had on?
She had on, it was a 90s coat with all the characters on it.
Okay. And you recall seeing her wearing that the morning of January 9th?
Correct.
And your Honor, may I approach people's already exhibit 2?
Yes.
I'm going to show you people's exhibit 2. Can you tell me, do you recognize a coat in this photo?
Yes.
And whose coat do you recognize that to be?
Neziah's.
Okay. Now, after you were
even how she just said her name,
you saw Neziah that morning,
They
what did
just
you do the
weird.
rest of the morning?
Nothing. I was at home with my mom and my 2 children.
And do you ever leave the house at any point that day?
No. I was at the house the whole entire day.
And do you know what time Neziah would normally get home from school?
On certain days, she will stay for after school, and then on certain days she will come home. The days she will stay for after school is 6, and the days that she don't is at 3 o'clock.
Okay. And on January 9th, do you know if Neziah had the after school program?
Yes. At that time, my mom took her out of the after school program, so she will come home directly at 3 o'clock.
Okay. And were you home at 3 o'clock?
Yes.
And did you see Neziah come home?
No.
Okay. And did you see her come home at all the rest of the night?
No.
Okay. Did you leave at any point after 3 o'clock?
No.
No, they go up the street
Did
look
you,
for nothing.
Yes, when Desire didn't come home, did that cause you to experience or feel any type of way?
It did. When she didn't come home is when my mom went to go pick up the other two children from the after school program. They knocked on the door and they had asked a question and said,
Objection, sounds like hearsay.
Now imagine she just asked her, how did you feel? She totally went over the fact that she just asked her, how did you feel? She tried to go into details of something else. That's because you felt nothing. You cold, heartless. You know what?
A question isn't hearsay technically.
I think she said she said.
She asked a question.
Yes.
She was getting ready to say a question. Okay,
What was the question?
The two children had asked me, Mom said, did
That's the hearsay.
did
Mom
Naziah come home?
Totally
Hearsay is mom
deflected.
said.
Okay, so were you asked directly whether Desire came home?
So my mom was still in the car. I was inside the house. They was coming to the house, walking up to the door. When I opened the door, they asked me, Mom said, did Naziah come home? I said, no.
And wasn't Desire home at all?
No.
Okay. And did you do any sort of looking for Desire that night?
Yes.
What did you do?
I called my twin sister. I called some of her friends that I know that stays close by. If they had seen Naziah, heard from Naziah and everything. And when I reached out to my sister, she said no. Her friend said no. So after that, I asked my mom, did she want me to call police? She said no, she will take it up in the morning.
Right, because they plan to not do nothing. Like her mama said, I didn't do nothing. I ain't do nothing. Why did this grown 31-year-old woman have to ask her mama, do you need me to call the police about my niece? I'm not asking nobody. That's an automatic. I'm finna call the police. Where's she at? My mama came back to the house without my niece. That's a problem. Then you just sit there like a bump on a log, like ain't shit happening. This really pisses me off, y'all, every time I watch it again. No emotion, no remorse, no nothing. Because they thought she was fast and out hanging and chasing wee-wee. That's what they thought.
Shannon, did you know Desire to have a pair of red and black Nike shoes?
Yes.
Okay. And if I showed you a picture of them, would you be able to?
They have such a disdain for that little girl that they can't even act like they like her. They despise her to the core. Why you need enemies when you got family like this? Hello?
Yes.
Right, because it seemed like it's like too ironic. Like all of a sudden you stayed at home that whole day, Shannon. You ain't go nowhere the whole day. You called around, asked a few people, and then what? You asked your baby daddy. It just don't make sense. Get in that fucking car, go up to that shop. Rally up all the niggas in the hood and let's go ride around and find out where the fuck my niece at. That's the type of attitude you should have. When you understand, a normal motherfucker will be boo-hoo crying, hysterical right now. This bitch look like she want to take a nap.
Colonel, may I approach?
Yes.
And for the record, this is going to be from People's Proposed Exhibit 14, and it'll be picture 34.
Right, he did have a whole month. He had a whole month to go and hide and do and plan and talk and manipulate and, coerce some shit. He had a whole month to do that.
Able to identify them?
Yes.
Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes.
And for the record, this is going to be from People's Proposed Exhibit 14, and it'll be picture 34.
Exactly.
Do you recognize these shoes?
Yes, that's a pair of shoes that my mom bought for to the birthday.
Okay, thank you.
Talking about gone, chaos. Gone.
Now, back on the 9th, you said
I saw your picture too.
your mom was
I just
going to
ain't
file a police report in the morning.
I ain't want to
Okay.
interrupt.
Did you go with her to file a police report in the morning?
No, it was my older sister.
Okay. Did you do anything on the 10th as it relates to trying to find Desire?
Yes, we went out, I and some others went out to go get some pictures, made copies. We went to other stores, passed out flyers, and everything that we need to do. Now, what was asked of us to do.
Okay.
So it was asked if
And,
you didn't want to do it.
Since January 9th, 2024, have you seen Desire?
No.
Have you, since January 9th, 2024, have you heard from Desire?
No.
Nothing further at this time, Judge. Thank you, Judge.
Ms. Harris, I also have some questions for you. You and Mr. Butts have been, or you've known him for about 12 years?
Correct.
And fair to say that you were in a dating relationship with him for most of that time?
Correct.
But towards the end, like last year, it was more off and on, fair to say?
No, it was on and off for years.
For years, okay. But you have 5 children with him?
Correct.
And this relationship that you had with him, even towards the end when it was on, it was a sexual relationship, right?
Correct.
Sometimes you go to a motel to have sex with him,
Correct. Yes.
and that motel was the Park Crest Inn.
Or the SharePoint.
There was more than one,
Multiples, yes.
okay. But one of them was the Park Crest. Said yes,
Correct.
and it's in Harper Woods
Correct.
on Harper.
Correct.
Do you know if Mr. Butts, or do you suspect that Mr. Butts has taken other women to those motels also?
Correct.
You do? I believe you said that you have, of your 5 children with him, 2 are girls
Yes.
and 3 are boys.
Correct.
And in January of this time, well, January 2023, you were living with your mother on Bedford, correct?
Correct.
Prior to that, were you living in Clinton Township?
Correct.
When did you leave the Clinton Township home and move to the Bedford home?
October 23.
And so there were times when you were in Clinton Township that Mr. Butts would travel out there to see the kids.
Correct.
And then when you moved to the Bedford address, he would go to the Bedford address to see the kids.
Correct.
And then the Bedford address is when Desire was also living there, correct?
Correct.
And I believe you just testified that on January the 9th, you were living at that house? in
Correct.
Bedford, and you were there during the day?
Correct.
And so were you one of the first people that realized that Desire did not come home when she was expected to be home?
Well, I didn't realize it until I had got a question. By the other kids had asked, did I have Nazaya came home yet, or have I seen her? And I said no.
Do you remember what time that was in the afternoon?
That was in the evening. My mom picked them up 6 o'clock.
So that was about 3 hours later than she normally should have been home?
Correct.
Was that surprising?
Yes, it was. One, we thought that she was at the after school program. But it didn't dawn on no one until my mom came back to the house and she wasn't here or she wasn't in the car when they had got in the car.
And so when you all realized that she wasn't at school and she wasn't at home, was that surprising?
Yes.
But you didn't go to the police that night.
No,
She ever not returned home previously?
no. This is her first time ever doing this.
Did she have friends in the neighborhood that she would go visit?
Yes.
And you said, are those the folks that you contacted to ask?
Yes.
You were just shown a pair of red and black Nike shoes, right?
Correct.
And you identified those shoes as being Nazia's shoe. Is that correct?
Correct.
It's a shoe that looks like the shoe that Nazia's wearing, correct?
Correct. Correct.
You can't say for sure that that exact
Yes, her-
shoe came from Nazia, is that fair to say?
Correct.
I think you testified that very rarely would you ever use text now to contact Mr. Butts.
Right.
Only if your phone was turned off.
Right.
And that was not very often.
Right.
Would Nazia ever have access to your phone to use it?
Yes, like she would ask, hey, TT, can I see your phone? Sure, I wouldn't mind. Yes.
And so would she text from that phone?
Probably, yes.
Did you ever notice any text from
No.
her on your phone?
No.
Did you ever notice if she had used your Text Now app?
No, the only time when I would notice something and say if me and Jarvis would we won't be on the same page seeing eye to eye, and I will call him and he said, why you will call me, or like why you continue to keep calling me, and I would say I haven't called you all day or in 2 days. And I will go ask my kids like, hey, are y'all calling your dad because I haven't called him.
And until you looked in Nazia's Instagram account, did you ever notice anything on your phone that caused you to?
She definitely asked Nazia too. She just really trying to make it seem like she ain't know. Her noticing the fact that he questioned her about why she keep calling, and she know her kids wasn't calling him as far up his ass that she used to be. You can't tell me that she ain't know that Nazia was calling her man supposedly without her knowledge.
To be concerned
No.
between Nazia and Mr. Butts?
No.
And Mr. Butts, we said would come to the house to see his kids. He would drop them off at the house sometimes. He would take them places.
Yes.
He would pick Janiyah up from there.
Like he, depending on like if he will pick up the kids, if I need him to pick up the kids from the pickup or drop off spot, for school, he will do that. Yeah.
And then take them either to Clinton Township when you lived there or to the Bedford Street address.
Correct.
Okay. But most times he wouldn't even come to the house, right?
He will come to the house. He will call me first before he will come.
Would he come into the house physically or would he sit in his truck outside?
50%. He will sit in the car and wait till the kids come outside, or he will knock on the door.
Okay. Would he be in the house for any length of time?
Only if I'm inside the house.
Like he was visiting with you?
Yes.
Okay. So you never knew a time that Mr. Butts would have been alone in the house with Nazia?
No.
You can't think of a time when he had been in the house and had gone down to the basement with her?
No.
Or any other room in the house alone?
No.
Would Mr. Butts have ever been at that house if another adult, like you or your mother, weren't there?
He will, what you said,
would Mr. Butts ever be at the house if you or your mother weren't there?
No, it will be me or another person.
The idea that anything was going on between Mr. Butts and Isaiah is shocking to you, right?
Correct.
You had no idea.
No,
You never noticed anything between Messiah and Mr. Butts that made you concerned?
no,
You never saw any inappropriate behavior?
not at all.
You didn't notice Mr. Butts paying any special attention to her?
No.
Certainly, if you had noticed that, that would have caused you concern.
Yeah, it would have raised a whole bunch of red flags.
Likely, you wouldn't have invited him into the house, correct?
Correct.
You found it hard to believe even that Mr. Butts would hurt Messiah.
But I won't know. I don't know what he will do if a person's back is up against the wall.
But the thought of that was hard for you, at least at one point, to believe, correct?
Correct.
Now, during the time that you and Mr. Butts were together, he's had children with other women.
Correct.
Pretty consistently with other women.
Exactly.
Correct.
More than one woman.
Correct.
Some of those women you actually knew about, correct?
Correct.
They lived kind of even in the same neighborhood on the east side.
Correct.
But you suspect that there were women that you didn't know about?
Correct.
Even one that lived, or more than one that lived over on the west side?
Correct.
You believe he was going out there to see somebody around the end of 2023, January 2024?
Correct.
Before January the 9th, you had a conversation with Naziah about a location on Outer Drive in Belfour,
Yes.
and that was surprising to you, right?
Correct.
That's on the east side of Detroit.
Yes.
Did you end up giving her directions on how to get to that location?
Yes.
Why did you give her directions?
I was just getting out the shower and just getting myself together. She asked me, she said, "Hey, Titi," she said, "where is Balfour and Outer Drive?" And I told her, I said, "You know exactly where Balfour and Outer Drive at." I said, "Outer Drive is right where the wine basket at." And I said, "You know where Balfour at?" And she was like, "I get Balfour and Bedford mixed up." So I said, "You already know Balfour is before Bedford." So she said, "Okay." She said, "Because we are in school and we are learning about our surroundings." So I said, "Okay." But that was the only two things that she had asked, was where was Outer Drive and Balfour at.
Does that location?
Now, imagine Balfour and Outer Drive is actually the location of where Javaris borrowed that blue car from his other baby mama from. So it's weird that Naziah was asking about that area, which lets me know, in my opinion, that she had been over to his other girlfriend house. But Balfour and Outer Drive is that the other girl's location. Her name is Latricia, but we'll get into that.
Location have any special significance to you?
No.
Do you know anybody at that location?
No, the only thing that I'm used to, I'm familiarized with just picking up Jarvis Outer Drive in Belfort. It's just on a corner.
On a corner?
Mm-hmm.
Not at an address?
Not on the address.
When was this conversation that you had about that location? Do you recall?
This was right before Naziah went missing.
Like how soon before? Weeks?
Maybe it was still like in that same week she went missing.
Mr. Butts didn't have his own vehicle, fair to say?
Right.
No, he didn't.
He generally used
His female's vehicles.
Did you know Mr. Butts to park at one location and maybe walk to another to kind of try to remain undetected?
Pretty much, yes.
So would it be not out of the ordinary for you to have to pick him up at a random, or what seemed to be a random location to you?
Correct.
you lived with Naziah for, you said from about October until January the 9th.
Correct.
So you spent a lot of time around her?
Yes.
You knew her mannerisms?
Yes.
Her demeanor?
Yes.
Her moods?
Yes.
Did anything strike you as out of the ordinary about how she was acting at any point in time in December or January before she disappeared?
No, Naziah, nothing have changed her character, none of that. She was just the same old Naziah. Nothing is different.
Naziah is a brother, right?
Yes.
Is it an older brother?
Yes.
Now, he had run away in 2023, is that right?
Yes.
That's irrelevant.
How is it relevant?
If it's something that had bothered her or something that she was dealing with at the time, could cause a change in her demeanor.
Okay. Overall.
So she did have a brother that ran away.
Correct.
And was that something that she struggled with?
She didn't like the fact that her brother was running away. Yes, she didn't like it.
Around the same time, around the time December, January, was her mother supposed to come visit, her biological mother?
Yes.
Did she end up coming to see Naziah?
Yes.
She did. Did Naziah seem to have some big emotions about that contact?
Yes.
It was complicated, fair to say?
Yes.
Did she talk to you about that?
All the time.
Did you know anything?
I don't know if I read that Shannon said what I'm about to say or she said it out her mouth, but she did feel like Naziah was copying her older brother and watching his every move and was planning to run away.
Notice anything? You said you didn't notice anything in a changing mood. So
No.
what about physically?
No.
That's why they initially reported her as a runaway versus a kidnapping. And now she's talking about in this testimony that they didn't notice any changes in her body. Now y'all know posted, I'm gonna have to post it to my page, but I showed on the live her body difference. How is it that we can notice there's something going on with her body and we've never seen her in person, but y'all don't know that she looking more plump in the face and round?
How to respond to disrespect, how to stop.
I don't have anything else. Thank you.
Redirect.
Did you go to the Park Crest Inn on January 9th, 2024?
No. No.
And fair to say, you knew of Mr. Butts having other female friends?
Yes.
Okay. And even some that you didn't know about?
Correct.
Okay. So would it be fair to say that you don't always know, or you didn't always know what Mr. Butts was doing?
No.
You couldn't account for his whereabouts every minute of the day?
No.
Did you know him to, one of those cars that he would use, did you know him to have a white Escalade type truck?
Correct. Yes.
And you were asking questions about Outer Drive and Belleville. Fair to say, from what I gathered, the only connection you have to that area is Jarvis Butts.
Correct.
Okay, so he's the only one you would associate with that area.
Correct.
Because I feel like they really didn't want the kids there anyway. Well, the grandma didn't. It was all about the money for her. She probably acted like she wanted him to come back. But I think older people be like, they tired of raising kids, especially if they claiming that she had more than 3. But to my knowledge, and to what Shannon said, she had 3 kids. So we don't say she had 3. But, They wasn't worried about him running away. You're right, because according to the family, they ain't give a damn. They just wanted the checks to keep rolling.
And you knew Mr. Butts to have other children?
Correct.
Okay, and you knew him to have clearly gotten other women pregnant?
Correct.
And to your knowledge, were all those women adults?
To my knowledge, yes.
Did he, to you, ever hide getting another woman pregnant?
No.
Yeah, because he knew her goofy ass was gonna stay. That's why he ain't never. He could tell her that he got other bitches pregnant because she ain't going nowhere. Clearly, you've been dealing with his bullshit for 12 years on and off, knowing that he's dealing with other people. No, this the judge statement after the fact. You said where these other foster kids they keep talking about. It was 6. It was 7 kids. The grandma miscounted. She only adopted the 2 from her oldest daughter, and then Shannon had 5. So that makes 7. This right here is his baby mama who has a 2-year-old girl by him, and a person who he took when he got the car from. Okay.
Borrowed your car?
He called and asked if he can use my car to do something with his son.
Okay. And when is it that how did he get your car?
I didn't get home till about 9 o'clock and he came to my house to pick my car up.
Is that 9 a.m. or 9 p.m.?
9 p.m.
9 p.m.? Okay. And you said he came to your house and picked it up?
Yes.
Okay. To your knowledge, did Mr. Butts say how long he was going to borrow your car for?
No.
Okay. Did you have a reason, a time where you expected it back?
At least 2 hours.
Okay. When did Mr. Butts return?
And I know they look alike to the people that kept saying this is Shannon. Now we see that this is not Shannon. Shannon was the previous video that we just watched. Her name is Latricia. I don't know why they don't got her name on the screen, but she got 2 kids. She got a boy that's not Javaris's, that's older than her 2-year-old. And the 2-year-old girl is Javaris' child.
Return with your car?
Or Jarvis, whatever his name is.
Was this normal, abnormal?
No, not normal.
Not normal? Okay. And did Mr. Butts say what he was doing when he had your car?
No.
Okay. Did you notice anything different about or in your car after his use that first time?
No.
Okay. Did you notice anything in the back seat that was different?
There was a pair of glasses that was left that my son was playing with at the time.
Okay. And I'm going to show you. In People's Exhibit 11, photo 37. Where at would your son be sitting?
On the passenger side.
Okay, in the passenger.
On the back seat.
So, can kind of see it better in photo 41. He would sit behind the passenger seat.
Yes.
Okay. What describe the glasses that he was playing with?
I believe they were clear around the frame part. I don't know what the ends look like, but I do remember they were clear around the frames.
Okay. And I want to show you what's already been introduced as People's Exhibit 12.
Yes.
Is there anything in People's Exhibit 12 that you recognize?
The glasses.
Okay. What how is it that you recognize those glasses?
They were clear just like that. The one my son was playing with.
Okay.
I'm not sure how old she is. I know they said it in the beginning, but this is a shorter version of her walking in the beginning and stating her name and age. But I think she is about 30.
Now, you said your son was playing with them in the back seat. How did you get them from your son?
I told him to give them to me because I didn't know who glasses they were.
Okay. How is it that you go to ask or come to ask Jarvis about these glasses?
Well, my son was playing with them when I was with Jarvis at his shop.
And I guess
the next day I went to the shop and my son, like picking my son up from school. Jarvis was see his daughter and my son was playing back with the glasses.
Okay. From when Jarvis had borrowed your car and returned it to you picking up your son from school, had anybody else borrowed your car?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you're at the shop. You see your son playing with the glasses. You take them from him.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay. Now tell me what does Jarvis do?
He snatched them from me and said those were his son's glasses.
Okay. And do you think anything of this at the time?
No, I just thought that was his sunglasses because he said he was taking his son somewhere in the car.
All right. Now the second time that Jarvis asked to use your car, you said that was either the day after or the next day.
Yes.
Okay. Tell me about how that comes to happen.
Well, he comes to my house when he get off work. He comes by, get my car, say he needs to use it again for his son. I said, okay. And he said he wasn't gonna be gone for that long like he was the time before. I said, okay. He was only gone for like 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours.
Okay. And are those the only 2 times that he ever used your car?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. Were there times that he would be in your car with you?
Yes.
That he would take in places?
Yes.
Okay. Have you had any contact with Jarvis since he turned himself in on February 7th of 2024?
Yes.
Okay. And what was that through?
Phone calls, get out, text, app.
Okay.
Ms. Johnson, you need to pull that microphone off the ledge. Yeah, that way I can hear you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Do you recall a phone call in which Jarvis asked you some things about your vehicle?
Yes.
Okay. And you've heard that call before?
Yes.
Okay. And was that call that I played for you, is that a fair and accurate depiction of the call that you had with
Yes.
Jarvis and him asking you about the car?
Yes.
No, I'd move for the admission of People's Proposed Exhibit 13.
Any objection?
No objection.
And
Okay.
Your Honor, may I publish?
Yeah, it'll be admitted as People's Exhibit 13 and you can publish. Can I also see exhibit 12 when you get a moment?
Yes, Judge.
Mayor.
Yes.
And for the record, this phone call is 6 minutes and 43 seconds long.
The call from.
You didn't get what she said?
Unit at Wayne County Jail. This call is subject to recording and monitoring. The inmate has requested that you pay for this call. If you don't wish to talk, hang up now. Thank you for using Tony.
Yeah.
Now this call, y'all, he was originally on the phone with the fiance. He had the fiance three-way call the girl who's in the seat now, giving her testimony.
One more for you to do. 313-207-2195.
You said what?
I said, I don't know what the fuck going on, but that's that everybody shit.
Everybody shit. You know, everybody house? They come to my shit? I don't even think they know of me.
But I need you to, anything that I had, anything that I touched. That's for yourself, man. Anything about me, man. That's for your goddamn self. You feel me?
Yeah.
Huh?
Serious.
Yeah, so just say go to mama's house.
Going on?
Yeah. Go to my house, man.
Fine. How you calling me?
My house, I'm doing something I ain't supposed to be doing. But go to my house, man. I'm a hurt.
Huh?
Go to my house, get my car.
You in her car?
If you gotta go home, use her car.
Okay. So don't use my car, though.
I don't know what's going on, bro. They're taking everything out, bro. Use your mama car, man, and drive around, man. Trying to fix yourself with your mama car, man. Your brother carries somebody's car. This shit is beyond.
Okay.
It's beyond me. I don't know what the fuck, man. Clean them motherfuckers up, something. I don't know.
My car?
Yeah, they got my phone. They got my cars. They got their cars. They got their guns. I don't know what the fuck they do, bro. Yeah, but what the fuck did that got shit to do with me is what I'm saying. That got shit to do with me, man, and I'm not understanding what the fuck is going on, you feel me? Well, I'll call you later, man. Like, I don't know what's going on around here around this shit, though. This shit's trying to piss me off.
Okay,
I'll get in touch with you later, man.
okay.
All right. Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Mm-hmm.
What's going on, bro? You got your job, your regular job?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You see how they don't give a damn that he used them to call other women, knowing that he drive to their house with other women cars. They okay with having just a piece of man, and it's so horrible how he just went after women with low self-esteem. But women got to do better when it comes to their self-esteem and what you gonna tolerate. You rather have a piece of a man than a man that's dedicated to you, a man that respects you, a man that honors you. You rather.
Yeah. My regular job, 6:45.
I'll call you about 7:30.
All right.
I love you.
One, two.
I became a medical assistant in less than 7 months. Let me show you how. Here.
So crazy to me.
What did you think when Jarvis told you those things?
I didn't know what to think when he told me those things.
Okay. What did you do in response to receiving this call, if anything?
Nothing.
Okay. Did you clean anything up?
No.
Did you wipe anything down?
No.
Okay. And that would be in your house?
Yes. House, car,
Car?
everything.
Okay.
Didn't touch it, done nothing.
All right. So, just to clarify a little bit, Jarvis borrowed your car on the 9th,
Yes.
brought it back the 10th in the morning,
Yes. Yeah.
about 6 a.m. or so, or in the morning?
In the morning, about 8:30, 8 o'clock.
8:30.
I was taking my son to school.
Okay. And did he borrow it later that day again or the next day?
I can't remember if it was later that day or the next day. I just know he did it again.
Okay. I think they're good.
Good afternoon. And you indicated that you knew Mr. Butts since 2019.
Yes.
Correct. You met him at the shop, correct?
Yes.
At his shop.
Yes.
Would you describe your relationship with him as a
Whole.
I'm sorry?
He said as a whole, we do.
Would you describe it as a physical relationship or was it a real relationship?
It was a physical relationship.
Okay. So you knew Mr. Butts was seeing other people, correct?
Yes.
All right. So that's not a surprise to you,
No.
correct?
The fact that he lied to me, that's a surprise.
Okay. So he would tell you he was coming over and you wouldn't know where he was coming from, correct?
Yes,
That's nothing new.
that's nothing.
Okay. Do you know,
Wix. One platform, any website. Unlimited creation.
As far as Fisher, I agree with the people that this case is distinguishable. This is a case regarding a trial. And the one thing I had highlighted in case is the quote, in this case, there was no physical evidence such as blood stains or a weapon leaking defendant to Joyce's death. In this case, we don't have the same facts or circumstances. I do agree, this is a circumstantial case, and circumstantial evidence is sufficient for a bind over and even conviction. Today is January 9th, 2025, exactly 1 year, from the day Neziah Harris disappeared. Before I get into the charges, and the main charge of premeditated first-degree murder, I have to speak on Neziah Harris and the community who failed her. And I am only presented with certain evidence. I don't know the whole story. The attorneys know more than me, the family knows more than me. But from what I have heard over the last 4 days and 5 days total, is that several people failed her. I don't know where her mother is. I don't know anything other than that she was forced to live in a home where she was not protected or given the adequate attention and love.
This the
I don't know what
ending,
her father
y'all.
is. I don't.
I'm a play that video last because there's still a few more here I got in my playlist. The sister's testimony, Jarvis' sister, and the business partner. There also is another lady too. The day that Neziah went missing, the business partner and Jarvis went to Ypsilanti to drop off a car to the business partner King mother-in-law or his son's grandmother. So they also seen Neziah as well. But I'm gonna just play his sister's testimony before I play the judge. I play the judge.
Millions of gun owners represent the best of America.
Uh-oh.
You ready, Mr.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay.
Good afternoon. Could you please state your name for the record?
Tijuana Butts,
And how old are you, Ms. Butts?
46.
And do you know someone named Jarvis Butts?
Yes,
And how is it that you know him?
he's my brother.
Okay. And how old is Jarvis Butts?
42.
And do you know his birthday?
Yes,
When's his birthday?
November 21st, 1982.
And do you see Jarvis Butts in the courtroom today?
I saw him walking in.
Okay. And can you point to him and tell me the color of the clothing that he's wearing?
He has on, I believe it's dark green shirt. He's sitting behind the lady to the side of you.
And Your Honor, with the record reflected when it says identified the defendant in this case?
So reflected. And just to be clear, you said I saw him walking in. You saw him when you were walking in or when he was walking in?
When I was walking in just now.
Thank you.
And Ms. Butts, where did you know Jarvis to work?
He worked at a shop on Warren and Neff, called Frank's, and then he moved to a shop on Hopper and Connors. I don't know the name of it.
And Ms. Butts, do you remember talking to Detroit police back on February 26, 2024?
Yes,
And what's the reason that you went and talked to Detroit police?
I had reason to believe that I saw Neziah the day she went missing.
Tell me about that. What makes you believe that you saw Neziah on the day she went missing?
Where do you want me to start? It's a lot.
So From the very beginning, where is it that you think you saw Neziah?
At the shop on Harbor and Connors.
Okay, and whose shop is it?
My brother Jarvis Butts and his partner.
Okay. What's the reason you were at your brother's shop that day?
Something was wrong with the car that I was driving, and I just needed him to check it out to make sure it was safe for me to drive.
Do you recall about what time did you go to Jarvis's shop that day?
About 4 p.m., give or take a few minutes.
Okay, and around what time did you leave?
Somewhere between 6 and 6:30.
Okay. And what is it that you noticed while you were at the shop?
So it's a 2 car, like garage. So I was sitting outside of the shop in my car because they were working on another car on the inside. As I sat there for the time that I was there, I kept seeing a little girl get in and out of his truck, going to the gas station and going back to his car.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop you right there. Whose car are we talking about?
My brother.
Okay, and what kind of car was it?
Believe the Cadillac Escalade.
Okay, do you remember what color?
Kind of like a pearl white, off white cream color.
Okay, and you said you described this as a 2 garage shop?
Yes.
Okay, and I want to approach with people's exhibit 7.
Okay.
Now, Ms. Butts, do you recognize what is it we're looking at in people's exhibit 7?
Yes.
Okay, what is that?
That is the shop.
Okay.
Right in the middle.
And where at were you parked when you saw someone getting in and out of Jarvis's truck?
In front of the car doors of the garage right here. I was parked facing, I don't know what direction it is, but going towards Gratiot. I was like in front, but outside.
Okay, so you were kind of parked parallel with the road?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you draw a T where your truck was?
My car?
Yeah, your car was.
Yeah.
Yes. And then put an arrow the way you were facing. And where is it where that Jarvis's truck was? Just put a J where Jarvis's truck was. And what way was his truck facing?
It was facing my direction, so the front was
Towards you. Okay, so put an arrow for that direction. Okay.
That's a good question, Brittany, because she also gonna say in this testimony that she got her car fixed for free. Okay, a lot of this got to do with money and what was beneficial to people.
Now, do you get a look at this little girl that you see getting in and out of his car?
I saw her, as she was walking. I never saw.
That's why I don't really feel sorry for the sister either. You know, cool, good that she was the only one to show some type of emotion. But in hindsight, you still allowed your brother to be around other children. You saw him going back and forth. You saw Neziah going back and forth to his truck. Even though you questioned him about Neziah, it's still the fact that she was getting in and out of his truck. Okay. But it is what it is at this point. But I still have concerns about his family. Why wasn't they on his head and on his ass about, you know, staying registered, being some type of whistleblower when it came to other children he was around? He wasn't supposed to be around no children at all.
saw her face.
Did you see any clothing?
I did.
Okay. Did anything about the clothing stick out to you that you remember?
I just remember her having on a colorful jacket.
And what door, which side do you remember seeing her getting in and out of Jarvis's truck? Or did it change?
I don't really remember.
Okay, that's okay. So you said you mostly remember a jacket, a colorful jacket.
Yes.
Okay. Now, I'm going to show you what's marked as People's Exhibit 2, which is already admitted, and People's Proposed Exhibit 10. You want my approach?
Yes.
Thank you. Handing you what's marked as People's Exhibits 2 and 10. Okay. Do you recognize anything in those photos?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yes.
What is it that you recognize?
Right here, this jacket.
And for the record, you're pointing up in channel 1, and you recognize this like pink colorful jacket?
Yes.
Okay. And that's in People's Exhibit 10? Your Honor, I would move for the admission of People's Proposed Exhibit 10 as Exhibit 10. Is that a fair and accurate depiction of the jacket that you saw that day?
Yes.
Your Honor, move for the proposed.
Y'all, I'm trying to see the jacket a little bit more. Hold
What is it
on.
that you recognize?
Right here, this jacket.
And for the record, you're pointing up in channel 1, and you recognize this like pink colorful jacket?
Yes.
Okay. And that's in People's Exhibit 10? Your Honor, I would move for the admission of People's Proposed Exhibit 10 as Exhibit 10. Is that a fair and accurate depiction of the jacket that you saw that day?
Yes.
Your Honor, move for the proposed People's Exhibit 10.
Any objection?
No objection.
Okay, it'll be admitted as People's Exhibit 10.
Okay. And in People's 2, is that also, where is the what you recognize People's Exhibit 2?
Looks like channel 2 here, maybe.
Okay, facing the back?
Yeah.
Okay. And
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure, but I'm pretty sure it was that jacket.
recognize the jacket in this photo too, right? Yes.
It's a little blurry, but it looks the same.
Okay. And what about in channel 1 of Exhibit 2?
It would be this one right here.
Okay, and it's fair to say that's the back of a jacket? It seems to be the back of a jacket? Okay, thank you. And you said that you saw this little girl with this jacket on getting in and out and going into the gas station?
Yes.
Okay. Did you know who this little girl was at the time?
No.
Okay. Is there a time that you ever get out of your car?
Yes.
And what do?
I needed to use the restroom, so I asked his partner if I could use the restroom. He told me to go and tell him in the gas station. And as I was walking towards the gas station, she was walking in front of me going into the gas station.
Okay. So about how far in front of you was she?
I would say maybe where the gentleman in the gray blazer is behind you. Maybe a little bit farther, I'm not really sure about that distance.
From where you are to him?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Boy, I'm really bad at estimates.
20, 25 feet?
Yeah, I would agree with about 20, 25 feet. And you said you never got a chance to see this little girl's face.
No.
Was there anything else about her that you can remember?
I just remember her being kind of small, like outside of just seeing her get in and out of the car. When I was walking towards her, I was like, she's tiny, and I just remembered the coat.
Okay. Tiny, like in what way? Like tiny, skinny, short?
Kind of skinny and short.
Okay. And did you ever ask Jarvis who the little girl was?
Yes.
And what did he tell you?
He told me, and I can't remember if it was this exact word or he said it's my partner's niece, or he said it was King's niece.
Okay, but
But
you knew who he was referring to?
yes,
Okay. Did you think anything of it at the time?
no,
Okay. And what is it that made you think something? Was there a time where you thought something different?
yes.
Okay. And what is it that made you think something different?
I received phone call, well, a video call from one of his kids' mom, and she told me about some things that happened on Valentine's Day, and then she sent me a video of a podcast about my brother.
Okay. And what did you do as a result of receiving those things?
I called Shannon and I asked her for Sergeant Jones' phone number.
Okay. And who's the Shannon that you called?
His kid's mom.
Shannon Harris?
Yes.
Okay. Do you do anything before you go and talk to Sergeant Jones?
Yes.
Okay. What is it that you do?
Okay, so after having a conversation with Shannon Harris and his other kid's mom, I was informed that his partner King, I guess something happened where the
Objection, this is hearsay.
There's not a statement yet, Judge.
Being informed.
I'm not sure what she's even about to say.
Okay, just to the extent that it's informed of someone else's statement.
You might have to object in a couple moments.
You need to speak up.
If you could stand up
Please.
and make your objection.
Yes, just objecting to the fact that she was informed of something. It appears this might be hearsay, but we'll see.
Yeah. Could you finish what you were saying? I don't know where you were going with this.
I'm trying to remember where I left. Okay, so after talking to Shannon Harris and his other kid's mom, I was informed of some things that had taken place I think Valentine's Day. So they told me that his
So
partner
objection.
King,
Okay, so
That
at this
is-
point, this is hearsay. They told me in the lack of personal knowledge the things that she was informed of.
can I finish?
1 second. What is an objection?
I'm sorry.
The witness
Sorry.
has to stop talking.
So based on those, do you go and talk to someone else?
Yes,
Okay. Who do you go and talk to?
his partner King
Okay. And where is it that you go and talk to King at?
at the shop on Harbor Encounters.
Okay. And without telling me what King said, kind of describe what was your conversation about?
Well, I went to see what happened and what was going on. During that time, I told him that I had never seen any little girl at my brother's shop besides my nieces, outside of the little girl that I saw getting out of his truck that day.
Okay.
And you told this to who?
King.
Okay.
And who is King again?
His business partner.
Okay. And do you know his government name?
I believe it's Cordero or something like that. I just always call him King.
Okay. So you went and told him that you hadn't seen anyone out at the shop besides your nieces and then the one little girl you saw that one day.
Yes.
Okay. Did you ask him about that little girl?
Well, I didn't ask him about it. After I said that to him, he told me.
Objection, Your Honor, this is going to be hearsay again.
Judge, it's going to go to the effect of on the listener.
There could be an exception. I don't know what she's saying. So you might as well just stay standing up. Go ahead, say what you're going to say.
After I mentioned to him that I had only saw my nieces and one particular little girl, he then told me that that was Nasiah that I saw that day, and I was there.
So I would object then, given now that she has testified to that it is hearsay, and that it is being introduced for the truth.
And Judge, I would say that it's actually a statement of identification.
So this is not an identification that she personally made, she's just being told.
When she saw Messiah that day, so it's.
She didn't know who it was. I mean, she had no idea who this was. That's
She
not
didn't know
her
who it was.
identification.
So it is hearsay.
Okay. So without saying what King said, were you informed of anything about a little girl that you saw on January 9th, 2024?
Yes.
Okay. And to your knowledge, Jarvis had told you that that was King's niece.
Yes.
Okay. And when you talked to King, did you have reason to not believe what Jarvis told you?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know your nieces from Jarvis? Sorry. That is a poorly worded question. I am sorry. If that was your niece, would you have recognized her that day?
Yes.
Okay. And you did not recognize this little girl as your niece, did you?
No.
Okay. What is it that you did after speaking with King that day?
I called Shannon Harris and I asked her for Sergeant Jones' phone number.
Okay. And did you eventually talk to Sergeant Jones?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry about that. What day was it that she went to the shop and saw the little girl?
Can I ask you a question? I didn't remember the exact date at the time.
Okay. What is it that makes you believe that it was Nasiah Harris that you saw on that day?
I'm not quite sure how to answer what you're asking me. Like,
That may be a poorly worded question. I'm sorry. Can I just have 1 second, George?
Yes.
Ms. Woods, did you come to learn of the day that you had gone to Jarvis's shop by going through the locations on your phone?
Yes.
Okay. And the day that you don't remember off the top of your head right now, but it is revealed in your phone locations?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. One second. Let me get her on there. When is it that you went through your phone locations to determine the date? I'm I'm sorry, do you need a moment?
I believe February, I think the 24th or the 26th. I can't remember the exact date.
Okay, that's when you would have went through your phone to find those?
Yes.
Okay, and did you also go through that in your interview with Sergeant Jones?
Yes.
Okay. And did you give Sergeant Jones permission to look at your location data?
Yes.
Okay. And your phone kind of extraction in general? Like to go through your phone for the data?
Yes.
Okay. Nothing else, Judge.
Thanks, Chris. Actually. So you go to the shop where your brother works periodically, right?
From time to time, yes.
You've been there prior to the day we've been talking about today?
Yes.
A couple times at least?
Yes.
And you've been back there after?
Yes.
But the day we've been talking about, that's the only time you ever saw a child there?
That was the only time I saw a child I didn't recognize.
Okay, so you had seen other children there before?
Yes.
Okay. When you say that you recognize, these are who exactly?
My nieces.
And when you first arrived at the shop that day, Jarvis told you that he wasn't going to be able to work on your car?
No.
No? Did you ask him if he'd be able to?
Judge, I think this calls for hearsay. They can't admit statements of the defendant.
I'm looking more so from her own statement, actually.
Okay.
Let's start with her own statement.
Okay.
Did you ask him right away if he would be able to work on your car
I talked to him prior to coming to the shop.
before you arrived? You asked if he could work on your car that day?
I asked him to look at my car today.
Okay. Did you arrive at the shop with the understanding that he would or would not be able to?
I arrived at the shop knowing that he was going to look at my car.
Okay. One moment. And was that via text or call or some other way?
Probably video call.
Okay, so a video call a little bit before you headed over?
Earlier in the day, maybe.
Okay.
I'm not sure exactly what time.
Okay, so that's how you decided that you'd go over later.
He told me I could come.
Judge, this is kind of all calling for hearsay in a backdoor way.
The response is hearsay. Not
Yeah.
that she necessarily asked for it, but it's hearsay.
Sure, we can keep it as her own. So to be clear, we don't need to talk about what he said to you, but you did a video call to him. And in that call, you asked if he could work on your car.
You keep saying work on my car. I said look at my car.
Okay, look at your car, but you asked him personally in the video.
Yes.
Okay, and that was maybe that morning?
I don't remember what time of day it was, but it was before I went to him.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and as you were saying, this day, I think you said you saw some other children there at other times, but this particular child, you only ever saw this child on this particular day.
Yes.
And the whole time you were there, from your testimony and from that police interview, you said that you never saw her face.
Yes.
And then you did also see some news stories about this case.
Yes.
Yeah, in the podcast that you talked about. Right, there were some podcasts.
I had already saw her on the news, but I did not know who she was.
Sure, but that was by seeing those stories, that's how you started to think.
Well, I was sent the podcast after some other things that was told to me. That's when I received the podcast.
So initially, between the day you were at the shop, right, and then until you started to see that news, at first you didn't make this connection that maybe she was anyone in particular.
Not at all.
Okay. And then through seeing that news, those podcasts, that's when you started to think she
No,
was.
that's not the reason why I thought that.
No, but that's the timing, or it's not?
I guess you could say that.
That's when you started to, at least when you saw those things, that's when you started to wonder.
I was wondering before I saw the podcast.
Okay. In your police interview that you did, did you tell them that at first when you saw the news, you didn't really make a connection because of not having seen her face?
Yes.
Okay. So that interview was on February 26th, 2024, right?
Yes.
And you were having some trouble remembering some of the specific details from January 9th at that point?
Not so much as remembering maybe the order I remembered it in.
Okay. Were there some times at least though when you were asked some questions and some details that you had to say, I can't remember some things?
I can't remember now.
Okay. And would you agree that at least
Like,
that it
it's been a minute.
okay. I
I
would just say
probably did. I guess it would be safe to say because I didn't know.
okay, so you think it's safe to say that at that point in time, there were at least some details you would have had a hard time, some questions you couldn't answer.
I can't disagree.
And it was pretty close in time, shortly before that police interview. That was when you first started to think that maybe this girl you'd seen at the shop had been Messiah Harris.
Can you repeat that?
So the first time you started to think that maybe that child, the one you saw, maybe that was Messiah Harris, that was pretty close in time to the police interview.
Liberty Mutual customized my car insurance, so I saved hundreds. With the money.
Maybe about a week or so before.
Okay, I believe, does it sound right to you that I think you told the police that it was on the Thursday prior to the interview?
Whatever the Thursday was after Valentine's Day.
Okay, so probably February 22nd. That was the Thursday prior to your interview.
Okay.
And then when you were at the shop, you primarily saw this child while she was inside a truck, right?
I didn't know it was a child in the truck until she kept getting out.
Okay, but when you saw her, she was in a truck?
I saw her getting out the truck, yes.
And were you inside your vehicle?
Yes,
You arrived in the daylight, right?
yes.
And that's, I think, what you're referring to, right? Initially, that's when you didn't yet know somebody was in the truck.
Can you say that again?
So at the beginning, when you first got there, right, you didn't know right away that somebody was in the truck.
No, I didn't.
I think you'd said before, because it was so light outside, it was a bit difficult to see into the truck.
I wasn't really paying attention to his truck. He was outside of it.
Sure. And then in your police interview, you referred to then seeing a light in the truck, and that's when you started to see somebody?
Yeah, that's when the door opened.
Okay, so there's a light turned on, and at the same time, a door opened?
That's the reason the light was on.
Okay, because the truck door was open. Yes.
Sure.
And you said that you saw a couple different times her go back and forth to the gas station?
Yes,
And only at one of those different times, you were on your way to the gas station as well.
yes.
But for that whole time, she remained in front of you?
When I was going into the gas station, she was in front of me. When I walked into the gas station, she went to the left, I went straight, and over to the right.
For that walk over to the gas station, was it getting dark at that point?
It was already dark.
Okay. And while she was in the truck, you were not sure exactly which part of the truck this was?
I can't remember, no.
Okay. So you understood initially that when you arrived, you'd probably have to wait at the shop sometime?
Yes,
I think you referred to just one other car you worked on first. Is that all there was before you?
it was actually another vehicle out there, but I don't pay my brother to work on my car, so I had to wait until he was done making his money. So I waited.
Sure. So do you know how many cars he worked on before he got to you?
I don't remember.
Okay. Do you know if there were any other customers present in person?
I did see someone, I can't remember what kind of car it was in, but it was, I believe, a gentleman that needed to pull into the garage because Jarvis asked me to move my car out the way because I was blocking the garage. So, yes.
Was this someone you recognized at all?
No.
So in total, other than Jarvis, or who you refer to as King, was there anyone present that you recognized that day?
No. Just King and one brother.
So as you said, the sun set while you were there. Do you know about how long it was light out before it got dark?
Well, I got there about 4 o'clock. It didn't take long for it to get dark. I don't remember the exact time, but it got dark pretty fast.
Okay, and then other than when you went to the gas station, were you always at the shop?
What do you mean?
So did you go anywhere else?
No, I never left. All I did was move my car when he asked me to move my car. And once the driveway was clear, I backed where I was. I didn't go anywhere else.
Okay. And when you were present, not going to the gas station, were you always inside your vehicle?
Yes,
Were your doors open or closed?
closed.
Okay. And were your windows up or down?
They were up unless I asked him something,
Okay. So sometimes if you needed to communicate, you just open the window.
or I would call him, yeah. Yes.
I think they trying to rule out whether she was involved with it or not too. So they asked a lot of the same questions over and over, just in different ways to make sure that her testimony aligns, you know, every time that they ask her, and that she really was not involved with this disappearance too.
And you were saying today that at one point you did speak to Jarvis about who this girl was.
You know, defense attorneys, it's their job to do exactly what she doing, which is get on her nerves. And, you know, they did that to most of them. That's why the other girlfriend got an attitude too. But that part cut off. I just thought about it. I ain't played a full interview to the girl with the blue car, because at the end of her testimony, she got smart with the defense attorney. Did we see that? I don't think we saw that.
Yes.
And when you were talking to the police about this, you had said that you weren't sure exactly what his response was.
What I said was I wasn't sure of the wording.
Sure, that's what I mean. That
Okay.
You told the police, right, that it might have been King's niece, or maybe he said it's my homeboy's niece.
He said it was his partner or King's niece, but he definitely said it was someone else's niece.
Okay, I mean, does it sound right to you that you used the term homeboy's niece with the police?
I probably did.
Okay.
It's all the same to me.
And then that's what you continued to think at first, right? At first, you just believed that it was someone else's niece.
Yeah,
Specifically, you thought it was probably King's niece,
that's what I was told.
which I think as we established, right, King is the same person as Cordell, right?
Yes.
And then after that, you would listen to some of these podcasts and to the news.
I listened to his kid's mother, and then I watched the podcast.
Okay, so those are some things that happened. But,
Yes.
and then once you started to have this different information and you were gathering, then you kind of started to look into it for yourself,
Yes.
do some of your own investigation.
Yes.
And then at one point following that, that's when you decided to go back to the shop
Yes.
to speak to Cordell
Yes.
and to discuss some of these things you've been learning with him.
Yes.
You and Jarvis are not particularly close.
I wouldn't say that we're really distant. I don't see him every day. I don't talk to him every day, but he's my brother.
Okay. He's your brother, but you don't have a very close relationship, or?
He's my brother.
Okay. What about with his children? Are you close with his children?
Some of the ones that I know.
So he has 13 kids, right?
I have no idea.
Do you have an idea of around how many kids he has?
A lot.
Okay. Do some of them live with different mothers?
Yes.
And you don't spend time with all of them?
No.
So which ones do you know?
I don't want to say their names. They're minors.
Okay.
And I don't want to disclose their identity.
Could you just give like a number instead? How many do you know?
I'm counting. About 8.
So when you say 8 that you know, does that mean 8 that you have like personal contact with?
I have.
Okay. When is the last time that you've seen any of them?
About 2 months ago.
Were you and Jarvis raised by your grandmother?
For the most part.
And were there some events surrounding her death that related to your relationship with Jarvis that impacted some things?
No.
I have no further questions. Thank you.
Any redirect?
Yes, Judge. Ms. Butts?
I'm trying
There
to
was
get
kind
what
of-
she
there was
just said.
For the most part.
What did she just say?
And were there some events surrounding her death that related to your relationship with Jarvis that impacted some things?
No.
I have no further questions. Thank you.
Any redirect?
Yes, Judge. Ms. Butts, you said that there was another reason, there's a different reason that you thought that it was Messiah that you had saw that day. When you were starting to compile, or when you talked to Shannon Harris, and then you got the podcast. Before that, you said there was other reasons why you had thought that was Messiah.
So, am I?
Yes.
Can I speak for-
What is
okay,
that? Yes.
So, at the time, I didn't know. Once I realized that it was a possibility that I saw her, there were several reasons that led me to believe that it was a possibility I was there. And I didn't want to get into detail as far as what I knew before the podcast. But if you would like, I would explain to you why I thought these things.
Yeah.
It's up to you.
Can we approach?
Yes. We'll be right back. For the hallway. You need some water or something? Can you get some water? Can you get some water?
Yeah, zoom in on his ass. What the fuck is he writing down? How to lie again? Boy, you ain't getting out this lie. What the hell is he writing? What the fuck is he writing? Boy, tell us where she at. Crazy ass. Trying to look busy. Nigga, you done did enough moving around this bitch. You done did enough. You got that damn mask on for what? I'm going in there with a mask on. Somebody say he got his ass whooped in there. That's why he got that mask on.
You do some more? No, this is it. I got like 2 items. Okay, we are back on the record. Ms. Butts, you are still under oath. Ms. Whitley, go right ahead.
Thank you. So, Ms. Butts, what's the sources of these reasons that you have? Are these things that you know from your personal knowledge? Are these things that you observe yourself?
I'm sorry.
That's okay. So these reasons that you were thinking of, what are the sources of them? Is it somebody told you something? Is it something that you saw yourself, you observed, or a coupling of that?
I would say it was both. Things that I was told and things that I heard.
Okay. Were there heard from Jarvis?
No.
Okay. Were these things that you had already known prior
to
thinking that was Messiah that you saw?
I'm sorry, I'm confused on the question.
So are these things the sources that you have for these reasons? Are they like things that you have personal knowledge of, or are they things that somebody told you about?
These were things that I was told. I'm trying to understand the question that you're asking me.
Ms. Whitley, you're referring to the question before we went into sidebar about her leading up to believing that it was possibly Messiah Harris at the shop, correct?
Yes.
Does that help clarify?
Okay.
The questioning?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so those reasons, those things, are those things that you had known before? Are they based on your observations, or?
Well, these were things that I was told. And after asking the questions that I needed to ask, I came up with the conclusion that it was a possibility that Naziah was the little girl that I saw that day.
Okay. You said that when you were parked at Jarvis's shop that it was getting dark out.
Yes.
Okay. That darkness, is that maybe the reason why the color on the jacket stood out?
Well, the jacket didn't stand out until I was walking into the gas station behind her because I wasn't really like paying attention to what she had on. I just kept seeing her get in and out of the truck, going in the gas station and coming back to the truck. And that's what caught my attention.
Okay, so the movement is what attracted you to it at first?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, Ms. Bessie, you're done testifying. Watch your step coming out of the witness box. Okay.
What y'all thinking about her testimony, y'all? We gonna do one more. I might just come back tomorrow. Cause it's been a minute. Let me see. It's been a minute, y'all. I'm just sitting here. So what y'all thinking so far? Y'all want to just come back tomorrow? I'll come back tomorrow at the same time, 9:30. Or I might do earlier in the day. It just depends. But I announced it on TikTok or something like that. And we can come back because I still want to play the business associate. His name King or Cordell. And he was the last person to see Naziah alive besides Jarvis. Okay. So let's come back tomorrow, yeah, because I'm tired, my butt hurt. And I just named this part 1 and then part 2 tomorrow. Okay. I might hop on live on TikTok and earlier in the day, and then we come back here tonight and tomorrow night. Okay. I do it like that. Because there was some other things that I wanted to play for y'all on TikTok too. So I have less videos to watch on YouTube, and then I go to TikTok, and then whatever else I see, you know, the ones on TikTok or the person calling in to the podcast, those not that long. Y'all want to hear those right now, or y'all want to wait till tomorrow? It's 2 of them, but those from TikTok, so they like, it wasn't that long because I listened to them back to back earlier. All right, so hold on. Let me stop sharing. Share screen. We're gonna go to TikTok, Tickety Talk. Y'all hanging in there tonight, though. Okay, so which one of these is the first one? Let's see this one.
She doing what she can do. She spoke to the police. She spoke
Oh,
to
wait a minute. This part 2. So we're gonna go part 1. Hold up. Okay. So they both 6 minutes.
This shit has pissed me the fuck off. My mother is not a monster. She's ain't never been a monster. She ain't never been a crooked ass woman. None of us ever was in CPS. I listened to the lives yesterday. I listened to the lives yesterday. Seeing that it was 5 of us. No, it's 7 of us. None of us was ever taken out of the fucking home. We was never in CPS. My mother never had a case on any of us. We was all raised under one sound roof. My mother worked 2 jobs. She was a hardworking ass woman. She didn't condone bullshit. And for family to get on the air and say that she condoned this and she condoned that. That's some bullshit. Because I'm sure if my mother didn't care about her grandchildren, why did she take the time to get the fuck up and get dressed and go to the school and to check at the school, go to the school and ask the principal? Well, my granddaughter didn't come home. They called the police right then and there. The police was at the school within 10 minutes. She loved her grandchildren. She doesn't just own her kids. She never disowned any of us. And for her to get on the press, yes, it probably took a lot, but she never refused to do the press. Not one time did she ever refuse to do the motherfucking press. People kept calling and saying, well, we see Naziah. Naziah is being seen in the public eye. A couple of gas station tenants say, oh, we seen her come in the gas station and rip her sign off the window. People say, well, we see her on Warren, East Warren in Bedford, or we seen her on East Warren in Coralville. We see her walking up the street, or we see her going in a couple of gas stations. Oh, somebody said, oh, we seen her going to Nino's Market on East Warren. My mother's house is not dysfunctional. Naziah never came from a dysfunctional ass home. Nobody in that household is dysfunctional. They made it seem like we come from a dysfunctional ass home. My mother is not dysfunctional. She didn't raise us in a dysfunctional atmosphere.
She needs to describe what dysfunction is to her. Because, right, school but not the police, she doing a whole lot of yapping, a whole lot of talking real loud, but sounding real crazy.
And for Kenya and for Roz and for whoever else feel like my mother, yes, leave her the fuck alone. Let her be. She has the right to not speak if she chooses not to motherfucking speak. She did the press and that should be it. She's a concerned-ass grandmother that loves her grandchildren, and yes, she wants Naziah to come back home.
So who's she trying to convince, us or herself?
If my mother was so dysfunctional, I don't think the state would allow her to even adopt 2 children out of the fucking system.
We're talking about a system that really don't give a damn either. So
my mother, yes, she's stern, but she's been like that for years. She's a zero tolerance for bullshit, and everybody know not to bring bullshit to her motherfucking house. You goddamn right. And I don't give a fuck about any motherfucking family member hearing this or anybody feeling like they need to comment on that shit. I'm bagging my mama up. My mama is doing what the fuck she can do, how she can do it, and what's best fit for her. But she loved her grandchildren just like she loved all 7 of our grown asses.
And where 7 come
This shit
from?
has been pissing me the fuck off since yesterday live. What kind of grandmother will just sit back and allow them to condone? What grandmother won't call her granddaughter out? She's doing what she can do. And if she chooses not to motherfucking speak, then that woman should not have to be forced to speak.
So listen, you keep reiterating on that part, right? And I feel like that's like you feel some kind of way about me asking her about like now for you to
No, I don't feel like nothing about you asking her anything. I just feel like the comments, everybody, what they feel like, what my mom should be doing, what type of grandmother she should be. She's any damn grandmama that love her grandchildren.
I know it's gonna say this not Shannon at the end of these videos, but it sounds like Shannon to me, y'all. It sounds like an upset Shannon.
She doing what she can do. She spoke to the police. She spoke to the detectives. She told them what and how and when. Nazaya didn't bring her ass home. She got up like any other grandparent would do, or any mother, or any father, any.
Listen to how she said Nazaya ain't bring her ass home. Not my niece was missing. This it's be the wording for me. Like y'all really thought this girl ran away and didn't do nothing about it, drug your feet, because you thought that she was being fast.
Brother or sister, she got the fuck up. She got dressed. She went to the school. She reported it. The school called the police. They met her at the school. My mom didn't wait no 24 hours to report Nazaya missing. She reported Nazaya missing on the fucking 9th. The detectives and stuff followed up on the 10th. They came to the.
Now we know that's a lie because we just heard it out her mama mouth that she ain't do shit on January the 9th. So we know that's a lie.
House. On the fucking 9th. The detectives and stuff followed up on the 10th. They came to the house.
The daughter who called into the podcast is not pictured. Yeah, they claiming it ain't her, but it's one of them. Because the mama only got 3 kids, according to Shannon.
This shit has pissed me the fuck off. My mother is not a monster. She's ain't never been a monster.
Hold up, we gotta go to part 2.
She doing what she can do. She spoke to the police. She spoke to the detectives. She told them what and how and when. Nazaya didn't bring her ass home. She got up like any other grandparent would do, or any mother, or any father, any brother or sister. She got the fuck up. She got dressed. She went to the school. She reported it. The school called the police. They met her at the school. My mom didn't wait no 24 hours
Right.
to
We heard that.
report Nazaya missing. She reported Nazaya missing on the fucking 9th. The detectives and stuff followed up on the 10th. They came to the house.
You say, grandmother, that's your mother, right? So you wanted
Yes,
to find
that's my mother. Yes, that is exactly my mother.
Yeah, because as it was relayed to me by a member of the family, is that when she was younger, right, she had CPS investigations of her own. And that's the
There was
reason,
never
and
no
that's the
there was
reason,
never
and
no
that's the
CPS. Well, none of us ever been in the system, bruh. This is what I'm telling you. No, none of us, out of 7 of us, we never been removed. Nobody has ever been removed from that household.
So why do you think the narrative is what it is as far as the immediate family, the extended family, and even the neighbors, who, all share pieces of the same puzzle as far as the story, painting the picture of the narrative that we share, that we all see with this story? Like, what how could it how is the whole world wrong, I guess, is what I want to say about this situation. If you fending for your mother.
I'm not going to even say that the whole world is wrong, because everybody is entitled to their fucking opinion at the end of the day. But like I say, everything that I've been sitting here and listening since 9:30 is fucking speculation to me.
It's speculation to you. Now, and the thing about it is, like,
It's speculation to me, far as because who says that Jarvis touched her? Nobody knows if Jarvis actually touched Nazaya.
Now who y'all know gonna be defending
Nobody
Jarvis
knows
like?
for sure, but
Who y'all know gonna be defending Jarvis like that? Besides the bitch that's sleeping with him. That's Shannon. She probably called in anonymous. That was her.
speculation.
Nobody knows if Jarvis actually touched Nasiah.
Right. I'm about to say you don't know for sure or not, right? And
nobody knows for sure. But since I've been listening to this live since 9:30, it seems like everybody know they fucking facts. And then nobody has got no proof about if this girl been touched or if Jarvis is the cause and the reason of why this girl is missing. Whatever he did back in the day, or however he catch this rape case, or however the scenario plays out about his personal life, I'm sure he did time. I'm sure the girl, the young lady who came forward, her daughter came forward a year ago and said that, yes, my mother lied about her age. My dad did his time. My mother was 15 when her and Jarvis met. He did his time. I don't feel like why motherfuckers should have to go and dig up old ass shit on motherfuckers. Is he out here raping and molesting children now? I can't answer that.
That's what's in question.
So why bring it up if you can't answer that, ma'am? Why bring that up? We absolutely need to dig up a pedophile's past. We absolutely need to keep reminding their ass of what the fuck they did. She sound like a crazy psychopath just like him. And you're right, the messages is not lying.
Shit, I mean, and if he
got that's the question. The question is, what I feel like this is, at this point in time, Nasiah is missing. That's all we really should be focusing on, is trying to find my niece so we can bring her ass back home.
No, bitch. We gonna focus on you.
And then everything else,
we gonna focus on you, Shannon, your mammy, Annette, Jarvis, and anybody else that was involved. She got another thing coming. That's why everybody coming at her like this, because she say stupid shit like that. You still is protecting a predator.
We can deal with it after that.
Yeah, I guess it's almost like a reverse search, right? Within trying to find her, we're trying to figure out what happened to her and whose hands she was, right? So I guess that's what leads us into all of these questions that we have about this Jarvis individual. So he comes up in the conversation of where she could be and why. So that's why he's relevant to the conversation. It's not like we're diverting away from looking for her by inserting him into the conversation. I mean, he's part of the conversation in regards to, I mean, as far as the court of public.
I don't know why his part sounds so low. Can y'all hear his part? If it is, y'all can just go to this content creator and then just look at it on there again if you want to listen to it again. But it sounds low on my phone, so I don't know if it's low on y'all device.
Public opinion is concerned. So that's what that is. I don't believe that people are diverting away from anything in the search, right? I mean, I don't imagine that the 500 people that's watching this live right now would be boots on the ground right now at 1:36 in the morning, even though it is that important when we can, in the space that we're in, when they say that, you know, finding her is the main concern. But at the end of the day, these components that we are resourcing right now will help us to be proactive in the future, whether it be within this family, with this girl, when we find her, or in other people's families. So that's I guess what the conversation, I know what the conversation is about. But I mean, you know,
This comment right here, it's about, oh, is you slow? People is hilarious, but no, for real. Is something wrong with you, girl? Like what? Something got to be wrong. So yeah, y'all. Thank y'all for sticking the night on through with me. And yeah, this whole situation is just a hot ass mess. And we gonna keep diving in. We're gonna keep diving into this situation. Whenever I find out some new information, some new evidence, I'm gonna come bring it to y'all. And that's just gonna be what it is until justice is served, or to, you know, they find her remains or something. Something gotta give in this situation. So again, thank y'all. I'm gonna go to bed now. I hope y'all have a good night, and I'll see y'all tomorrow sometime. Yeah, that's that on that. Thank y'all. It's my first stream, y'all. I feel so good. I'm so happy because I was really trying to figure this thing out, and it really wasn't that bad. So I feel like I could do this quite often with the streaming. I could do this. Yeah. All right, y'all. Good night.